Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Friday night.
Yeah.
My favorite show of the week.
Yep.
They're all fun, but this is the best one. This is the best one.
See who's there.
I don't have to do any research or anything like that.
Yep.
I can just drink and fart around.
Just having fun.
Which is always awesome. And it's Friday night, you know.
Yep.
We
got questions. Already got questions.
I already got questions.
Okay.
CB said, me and my girlfriend got back in time from Forbidden, so I won't miss 13 o'clock. Well, Dan, thank you very much for leaving your thing early so you can come watch us fart around and get drunk. Phantom says, since y'all just recently watched the film Battle Beyond the Stars, would you ever review it? Just wondering because it's pretty decent. I don't know. We might. I might like rewatch it at some point. I didn't love it.
No, I didn't like it.
You know what I mean? So
the production value wasn't bad for a Corman flick. I mean, the visuals looked alright, but the storytelling and the sci-fi fucking lore was no, not good.
And it wasn't
real generic.
And it wasn't bad enough to be like fun,
to
like
fun,
like Star Crash was.
Yeah, it was just kind of mediocre.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
A good one from around that time that I thought was a lot better was fucking Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Molly Ringwald and that dude. That was a fucking great science fiction movie.
And that dude, yeah. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, it's that dude.
It's just that dude.
Yeah.
Now
and that robot chick.
Yeah.
Well, you said that you recognized she came from another movie. I don't remember which.
Yeah, she was in The Hand. Remember, she was Michael Caine's wife in The Hand.
Yeah.
She was only in it for like 10 minutes, but
yeah, she was worth it though.
The whole time, like we were watching that movie, and then at the beginning, I was like, "God damn it, where is that? I know I've seen her, and I can't place it."
Yeah.
And then after about 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh shit, she was in The Hand."
Yeah.
She was the one that was having sex with the yoga instructor or whatever the fuck he was.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you fucking him?
Yeah.
Fucking Michael Caine and shit.
She's like, well, yeah, I mean, we're separated, so fair play.
He's glitching the fuck out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Zach says, holy crap, this week has been an absolute fucking nightmare. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't know why. What happened?
He said, was dating the most amazing dude this past month, and we got together great, but I'm pretty sure he's having a bipolar episode at the moment, and I haven't heard from him over a week, and I'm so worried about him. That is pretty fucked up. Maybe he's all right though. Just don't panic yet.
Maybe he's just hitting and quitting. You were a short-term thing.
Could be that too.
Dove off in your booty and then he runs. Yeah.
Dudes, man.
Yeah.
They'll do that.
Stick and move.
You need something that kind of rhymes with
stick and move.
Stick and shit.
It's a male universal. Straight ones and gay ones. They both do it.
Yeah, you better not.
No. I did it. I did it regularly.
Yeah,
in my younger years. Yeah.
In your misspent youth.
No, I wasn't misspent. I knew exactly what I was doing.
I'm just teasing.
I was actually making...
I was just gonna say, I'm sure you don't think of it as misspent youth.
No, I did. Whenever I did that, I did it for good reason. I wasn't hanging around. You know what I mean? You know when it's not gonna work out. You know when some chick is just having a fling with you, she doesn't really give a shit about you too. You know that.
Well, yeah.
So you just
you're just like, all right,
okay,
we're just having,
it was fun. All
we're
right,
all just having a good time.
I'll see you around. You know. And then another thing that fucking women never really consider is that sometimes you bite off more than you can chew.
Oh, we do consider that.
Okay, yeah. Like,
we're not as dumb as you think.
Well, you'll hook up with some chick, and then the more you find out about her, the more you realize, well, shit, I don't make enough money. I don't quite have the fucking power that this chick's looking for. Her standards are too high. She's gonna replace me. So fucking, you might stick it a couple more times and leave.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm sure. I mean,
so there's a lot of that.
Women are very aware of that.
Yeah.
Too. But it's just sometimes dudes don't say why they do. They'll come up with some other bullshit reason, or they'll just ghost you or something like that. Yeah. And in that case, I think sometimes women are like, what the fuck happened? Like, why did, you know what I mean? Because they don't, tell you.
Half the time when I did that is because I realized I thought that I had bitten off more than I could chew.
Yeah.
That she wasn't.
Which, like I said, it's fair enough. Because, like, women do that, too. It's like you start dating a dude and he seems cool, but then, like, after a while, you're like, oh, shit, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like that, but it's different for a guy.
Like, this dude might be a bum, or he might be, like, there's various other reasons. Like, they might have some red flags that come out after a little while and shit like that.
Well, a lot of it was like, this chick's standards are too high. I'm not going to be able to live up to her standards. not long term. That's one of the things.
Yeah.
Or you go, or something along the lines of, this chick's working on a career, and really what she's going to do over the next couple of years, really, I don't have any place in that. You know what I mean? Fucking, so you're going like, this is just a short term thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't, go off with her career, with her or something, or model your life around a career that she's trying to have, in the medical industry or something, it's not going to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you're kind of pursuing the same thing or you're pursuing something that's going to work out.
Yeah, when you're a fucking goth dude in the club and shit, that's far outside the scope of fucking your goals. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, so you're just around right now, because I remember when I was in Boston for a lot of that time, those were Ivy League girls out of fucking Harvard and Tufts. A few of them were MIT, but not really. MIT girls are ugly. And annoying. Harvard girls were just annoying. The fucking girls were fucking annoying. Most of them. I showed Jen one of them. A girl that I knew from Harvard. And she was fucking did stupid shit. Told Jen the whole thing. I'm not going to get into it though. But she didn't end up graduating from Harvard. She ended up graduating from Stanford.
Yeah.
So I guess she left.
And went to
another school. Yeah, but during the time I knew her, she was in Harvard. And
yeah, you just told me that story.
Yeah. I was telling about her and fucking I said, you know what? I bet you I could find her. And I found her in 5 minutes and goes, that's her. And she didn't change all that much. She's older, but I could still recognize her instantly. She was the first one to come up. She has an odd name.
Yeah, that's why you were able to find her so easily, because she has kind of an unusual name.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. Phantom said, I just came across a sci-fi flick from the late 80s that has Andrew Stevens in it called Terror Within, which looks okay and free on YouTube. I'm going to watch that after the show. Hopefully it's good. I've kind of heard of that, but I don't think I've ever seen it. We watched several movies last night because I was just kind of randomly scrolling through Amazon Prime and just watching whatever kind of struck my fancy. Yeah. So I ended up watching the first one I watched. I had never fucking heard of this movie, and I thought I heard of all the movies from the 80s, called Brainstorm. And Louise Fletcher was in it, and Christopher Walken was in it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a sci-fi. Tom was like, this is very Michael Crichton-y.
Yeah.
It wasn't written by Michael Crichton, though, as far as I'm aware, but it was kind of Michael Crichton-y.
I was enjoying it. I fell asleep during it.
It was pretty good. It was kind of a weird flick. It kind of reminded me a little bit of... It had a little bit of a dreamscape-y kind of vibe to it, because it was kind of like it was these scientists that had invented a machine that you could... It was essentially like virtual reality. Yeah. This was in 83, I think this movie came out. But it allowed you to experience it as though you were there. Like you could smell everything, and you could exactly as though you were there.
Well, what's the name of that program?
And you could record your own thoughts and experiences and play them back. What? Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Okay. I got my fucking guy who listens to the show. His name is Rob Levinson. He's an amateur filmmaker and does other stuff too. He sent me a bunch of Michael Crichton movies a couple years back when the show was still new. And I was watching it and I'm going, this got to be a Michael Crichton flick. It feels a lot like it. Or it was trying to be like one.
Yeah, it might have been.
And
because they were kind of this was kind of a popular trope at that time.
Turned out it wasn't though, but it was.
I don't think
it was good production value. It had pretty good special effects during the time that I saw it. I was enjoying it. I got about halfway through it, fell asleep.
Yeah, that happens.
I do that sometimes.
Natalie Wood was in it too. Natalie Wood was in it too. Yeah. But it was basically they had invented this thing that you could experience other people's thoughts and emotions, like if you just put the little virtual reality thing on. And it so happened that about halfway through the movie, spoiler alert, Louise Fletcher has a heart attack or something like that, and she records her last thoughts before she dies and after she dies. And so after this point, the Department of Defense or whatever comes in and starts taking over the shit because they're like, ooh, we can use this for pilots to fly planes and drop bombs on people or whatever the fuck. And so the scientists all get mad because that wasn't the application that they had in mind when they were designing this technology. So
what year was this again? By the way,
83. 83.
I'm doing it right now. I'm sending Rob Levinson a message on that.
And then so Christopher Walken gets taken off the project after Louise Fletcher's character dies, and he becomes bound and determined to break back in and watch the tape that she made of her death, because he wants to see if it shows like what happens after you die.
You spell Crichton C-R-I...
C-R-I-C-H-T-O-N, I think.
T-O-N? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that looks right. It didn't do a spell check. Okay. He'd like that.
Yeah, like I said, it was an interesting flick. It had kind of a love story in the middle of it because Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood were weren't they a thing in real life? I feel like at some point, because wasn't Christopher Walken on the boat when she fell off and died? I'm pretty sure. I'd have to like go back and look at all that because I thought we talked about that on one like show that we did a long time ago, but they were in it. They were like a married couple. They both worked at this facility. But they were, like, estranged. They were going to get a divorce, but then they, like, reconnect and all this other kind of stuff. So there was, like, kind of a romance kind of thing going on in there, too, but not, like, in a cheesy way. So, yeah, it was, like, really interesting. So I had never heard of it. I don't know how I didn't with such big, famous people in it. And then after that, for some reason, because other night we were watching, remember we went off on that Fu Manchu kick? Yeah. So we watched, like, the 1932 Mask of Fu Manchu, right, with... Boris Karloff. And so they were recommending more Boris Karloff movies. There was one from the 50s called Voodoo Island. And look, I love Boris Karloff, but that movie was
pretty bad.
Not good.
Pretty bad.
Not
good. Although it was better than an Ed Wood flick. He was doing better than fucking Lugosi was doing at that time.
True.
It was 50s.
Yeah, I think it was 58, 59, something like that. So it was before
Karloff worked his whole life, though.
It was before Thriller.
Yeah.
Like the show that he did, which I've been reviewing on my other channel, but because that was 1960 and 1961. But this was before that. It's just like the movie was just, I mean, and Elisha Cook was in it too. That bitch was in everything, man. Like back in the day, he was in the House on Haunted Hill and all that stuff. But it was just, I don't know. It was just that one, it seemed like a lot of filler, like a lot of walking.
Yeah, like an Ed Wood flick.
Not enough voodoo. And the end of it was just like really, because like Tom was watching it, he's like, man, this is like almost Ed Wood, and I was like, yeah, this is really not good. And like, then like at the end, I didn't even realize it was the end because it seemed like there was still shit that was supposed to happen, and then this music comes on, and Tom's like, that's the end music, and I was like, yeah, and then it was like the end. I'm like, what the fuck? What did you ended it like that? Why did it end right there?
I could tell it was the end. They were running out of fucking money. Time. They go, okay, movie's over.
I was just like, why'd you end it right? It was like the weirdest fucking shit
ever. And I missed
the
best part. That's when the little girl got eaten by a fucking man-eating plant.
Yeah.
I missed it.
I did like that because it's like, you know, they didn't usually kill little kids, but the thing about it was that they end up on this island, the titular Voodoo Island. Yeah. They get sent there because this guy, like a developer, is going to build a resort on it, but nobody goes there because, you know, voodoo, obviously. Or like there's natives that live there that it's like super scary and blah blah. And like this one guy who was sent there to scope the place out came back all zombified. Like he was like walking in, his blood pressure was really low, and he just kind of sat there and stared. And they didn't know what was wrong with him. So then he sends another team out, which included Boris Karloff and a number of other people. And then they go there and like they walk around like for ages. And then there's man-eating plants because that has something to do with voodoo, I guess. But there's like all
didn't make any sense.
This man-eating plant stuff. And there's one scene like later on in the movie where one of the guys is wandering around. I don't remember what he's doing. But he sees two of the native kids, like two little girls, just running around playing. And one of the little girls, probably like 7 or something like that, like runs across this like mat thing like on the ground, and it's a big carnivorous plant. It goes whoop, and like goes up like that and eats her. I'm like, no way! It just ate a little kid.
And I was in the bathroom at the time.
I was like, it ate a little kid.
And I said, it ate a kid. And I said, they went there. And Jen goes, yeah, but it was a native kid, so it doesn't count.
And
I went, yeah, in the 57, it doesn't count. Yeah,
it wasn't a white kid.
They could do that. We were laughing.
And I was like, it's terrible, but it's true. They were probably like, well, you know, it's not like it was a little.
Not
white
like it was
girl.
a white kid.
You know, it's like fucking.
Although, you know,
the natives look like Hawaiians, and I'm like, Hawaiians are really not known for the voodoo so much. But
although people kind of fucking goof on old America, you know, fucking how racist it was and shit. It wasn't that racist everywhere all the time. Fucking you had a lot of fucking cool, excellent people of all different colors. Boris Karloff himself. Most people I think thought he was white. He wasn't white. He was half. His dad was from India,
Either his mom or his dad was from India. I can't
India.
remember.
Yeah, it was Indian and British.
Yeah.
And in this movie, in this one, because the resolution's a little better than old 30s flicks, you could tell that he was Indian.
Yeah.
Just his skin tone. Yeah, he wasn't white.
It's funny though, because like a lot of actors in old Hollywood were not.
They were not white.
Were not white, but they always kind of like tried to change their names and dye their hair.
They all had different names and different hairdos, and they just
so they looked whiter.
They were all kind of like white adjacent, white passing.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were Mexican.
Yeah.
A lot of them were Mexican.
Wasn't Rita Hayworth?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it was from California. You know, California was part of Mexico and the Spanish Empire. Anything in the South and Southwest, man, that's a lot of Mexican Americans. So, you know, that's where Hollywood is. So, you know, the locals of that area, you know, I grew up there part of the time. I left in 1981. And I was living in Carson, which is now, it's the ghetto now, but it was just like lower middle class neighborhood, working class neighborhood back in the 70s and the very early 80s. And it was about 50-50 white and Chicano. Now, Chicanos, I grew up with all kinds of Chicanos, you know, fucking Bobby Neveretti and his brother Emmanuel and fucking Tony Cantu. And, you know, there are guys that I went fucking from kindergarten to fucking 8th grade with, you know. And the Chicanos are good people. They were mixed. Some of them looked totally Mexican. Some of them looked white, you know. But they had Spanish names, and they were just like anybody else. Although I asked my friend Jim North, who's still there, last time I talked to him, I was asking what happened to them. And he goes, you know, they all moved away. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, they all got good jobs. They moved out of here. So they're not in those neighborhoods anymore. They ended up moving to other states and just becoming part of mainstream America. You know, probably just married white people. And, you know, they probably, I don't even know if they have a Chicano identity. They probably not. A lot of the people we know from the club are Hispanic. But they're just like everybody else. They don't have any kind of, like, separate identity or anything.
Well, goth is an identity.
They're goths. So, yeah. We don't really notice it. Don't even notice it. Yeah.
Phantom's talking about the movie Dead Kids. I thought we had reviewed that. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember if we reviewed it or not. And Strange Invaders from 1983. Yeah, I've seen that one too, but I'm pretty sure we haven't done that one. But the movie we watched after that, we picked this just totally at random, and this ended up being like surprisingly good. I thought it was gonna suck out loud, but it was from the 90s, right? Wasn't it 98? I want to say it came out in 1998, 96. Now I can't remember. But it was called Bram Stoker's Shadow Builder.
Good flick.
And I was like, huh. I was like, I don't think I've read some of Bram Stoker's other stuff other than Dracula, but I had never read that story before. So it's just kind of like, somebody made one from like, that's creative. And then I saw that Michael Rooker was in it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay, we're going to watch it then because Michael Rooker is in it. And it turned out when we watched that Tony Todd was in it as well.
The guy from...
Like, he doesn't turn up until, like, a little bit later, but he's kind of a main character. Like, Michael Rooker is kind of, like, the main character, but Tony Todd's character doesn't turn up until about halfway, but then he's, like, a main character, like, from then on. But it was, like, you know, it was obviously pretty low budget, like, the CG and everything.
Not for the time.
But, yeah, but actually it was surprisingly good. I was surprised at, like, how good it was.
No, they said for the time that was really expensive CG.
Yeah.
And they got it for a good rate because the connections and stuff that they had. But it's good. It was a good flick. And good writing. It wasn't Dreamscape.
What?
What was the name of that movie that we saw that was the Crichton flick? It was not Dreamscape.
I didn't say it was.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. What'd you say it was?
No. Like, the Michael Crichton movie?
No.
Or no, the one we bought. I said Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Okay.
Yeah. I just mentioned Dreamscape because I said this was kind of like, it had a little bit of a Dreamscape kind of thing to it with, like, sharing minds and everything, but I didn't say it was...
All right. I got confused.
Yeah. Yeah, Brainstorm, I told you. Which is foul. Zach said, I did get in touch with one of his friends to see if they know what's going on. Well, I mean, I hope everything's okay. We'll just kind of, just let us know. Oracle just showed up. Tom says, the people me and the girlfriend would make your hair grow. Oh, the people me and the girlfriend know would make your hair grow. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Okay. I was like, for a second, I was trying to like figure out what that sentence meant. It took me a minute. Let's see. Phantom says, speaking of zombies, I can't wait for the 2025 Return of the Living Dead remake to come out. I'm jonesing hella hard for that film. I hope it's good. I mean, Return of the Living Dead is such a great 80s film. Also, we finally saw the trailer for 28 Years Later, so I'm excited about seeing that one too. Actually, there's like 4 or 5 movies coming out like early this year that I'm kind of excited about seeing. Oracle says, I have a question for the crowd. Why do parents not tell you they're sick until afterwards? Well, like after you visit them, and then then they call you and go, oh, by the way, we all have the flu. When is the Creep Show TV show reviews? Is there a new season out? Because I haven't kept up. I did check Shudder today, and I've been watching that series Horror's Greatest, and they've been doing the same thing they did with Creep Show, where they just put like a new one out every week, and I didn't realize that season 2 had started. So I watched the first episode of season 2, which is the only one that's up right now, and if you haven't seen it, it's just kind of like a little documentary series, and each episode they talk about like a different subgenre, you know what I mean? So this one was like animal attack movies. So that one was kind of fun. I wish they would do more of them though. The first season I think only had like 5 or 6 episodes. And like one of them was like horror comedy, and one of them was kaiju, and one of them was Stephen King adaptations, and I don't remember what the other ones were. Maybe one of them was zombies, or was it? I don't remember. But yeah, the animal attack one was like pretty good. But that was the one that was up today. And then I think the one that's going up next week is Killer Dates or something like that. So it's kind of like horror romance type of crossovers. So that should be good too. But it's a good series if you like horror documentary type stuff. But when the Creep Show TV series on Shudder was originally airing, we did review it, didn't we? I thought we did.
What?
The Creep Show TV series on Shudder.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
We didn't review that.
Yeah, we did.
The TV series.
Yeah. Remember it's on Shudder?
Oh, yeah, I think maybe we did do some of those, didn't we?
Yeah. Okay. I thought we did all of them.
Talking about the old ones, like from...
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not talking about the movie, like from the 80s. I'm talking about the series that Greg Nicotero did. Like from last year or year before or whatever.
Yeah. Been a long time. That kind of stuff doesn't stick with me very long.
But I don't know if they've done a new... Because I thought they did a series, like a season, and then a shorter season, and then they did like one that was like a Christmas special or something like last year, but I didn't know that they put new shit up. But I'll go look. I always forget when I'm on Shudder. Yeah. I always like look through the movies, and I forget to go over to the series tab and like look at all the series. Because they have a bunch of good series on there too. Like I like fucking Joe Bob. He always has fun shit on there. Senior Stick says there's 4 seasons. Okay, well then I've missed some shit then. All right, so I'm gonna have to go watch those. Oh yeah, Oracle said I just found out today my mother-in-law was in the hospital with COVID this past weekend. She just told you, like fucking, that's nice. Full Metal Nosferatu. Happy New Year from Sub-Zero, Maine. We're just doing Christmas with the in-laws. My fiance got her books, and I believe she's going to start reading them once she's done with her current book. Well, let me know what she thinks of them. Like, even if she thinks they suck. I mean, that's always good. That's always good constructive criticism. But, because you got the short story compilations, right? I remember you saying that you got those. I'm working on... I don't remember if I said this on the show, but you guys had like my true crime, my Faceless Villain series. That's, 3... volumes so far, like that are all crimes from the 20th century. And I was gonna do a book that was like 2020 to or 2000 to 2020 is what I meant to say. And then I was like, well, shit, I started working on it, and I was like, well, shit, the year 2000 is, like, already, like, half as long as a book anyway. So I was like, why don't I just do them, like, 1 year at a time? You know what I mean? So the 2000 one is almost, I don't want to say almost done, but it's pretty close. Like, I don't have that much more to do on it. So I should have that up soon. And, like, I started writing the 2001 one before, like, a long time ago. But it just has more shit I got to add and, you know, all that other kind of shit. You got to format it. And I'll probably have to do an audiobook, too, which takes a while. But I can put the print and the ebook up.
Yeah, and I have to get that microphone back out.
Well, this one will probably work.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like we don't have to meet the standards of the old publishers, do we?
I mean, I have that, and the other one I think is just right in there.
Yeah, that other one, that's a much nicer microphone.
It is, yeah. It is.
I'll set it up.
But when I'm ready to do it.
Yeah.
Senior 6 says, Tom and Jenny, do you have a favorite horror anthology series to recommend? Like I said, I don't see a lot of them. Like, Creepshow was good. A lot of them were kind of hit or miss. I actually kind of had a soft spot for, I don't know if this counts as an anthology necessarily, but I kind of had a soft spot for Channel Zero. That was kind of not like, it was based on creepypastas, but each season was based on a different story. You know what I mean? So each season was like a whole story with like several episodes, and then the next season was like a completely different story. So it's not the same thing where it was just like a different story. And I liked, what was the one that Netflix did, the Guillermo del Toro Cabinet of Curiosities? That was pretty good too. Like, some of them were better than others, obviously. But there was a couple Lovecraft adaptations in there, and there was an adaptation of The Graveyard Rats, which is always like a good story, which has been adapted before, but you know what I mean. Full Metal Nosferatu said, yes, she got the 2 short stories books. She just finished a book of Christmas horror short stories. She forgot about the collection of Gothic Christmas stories I got her and her son last year. Yeah, I was going to do like a Christmas horror anthology this year, but I ended up not doing one. I had one checked out, but I didn't have time to read it. Phantom says, Humanoids from the Deep would be a great Monday review. Just saying, I'm pretty sure we've already reviewed that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've already reviewed it, because I've seen that several times. And I'm 90% sure we reviewed that. Let's see. John says, hey guys, finally made a live stream on Friday. Loved your Nosferatu review. Plan to see it on my birthday in February. It seems to be doing really well. Like, everybody seems to be going to see it. And I feel like, yes, there's been like a predictable backlash, because some people were like, oh, they didn't like it. They thought it was boring or something like that. But I don't know, man. I thought it was great. But, you know, not everybody's going to like the same thing. If you don't like gothic horror and you don't like kind of slow burn kind of shit like that, yeah, you're probably not going to like it. But, Phantom made some banging ass nachos. Let's see. Good Anthology, Twice Told Tales. Yeah, that was the one with Vincent Price. I reviewed that a while back on my channel. That's like, what if we're talking about anthology movies, there's a lot of those that I like. They did a Poe one too, I feel like. What was it called? I think it was just called Tales of Terror. That might have had Vincent Price in it too, now that I'm thinking about it. But the Twice Told Tales was Nathaniel Hawthorne. But yeah, I did a review of that a while ago. And I liked it because Nathaniel Hawthorne stuff, I like his stuff, but it's not as horrific as Edgar Allan Poe stuff is. So a lot of the stories I noted were different than the source material. Like, they horrored it up a little bit, which is fine, you know what I mean? Because they wanted something to compete with, like, the Poe, like, Corman's Poe movies. And, you know, they figured, hey, nobody's doing Nathaniel Hawthorne, so let's do that, you know? But some of the stories they adapted, like, were a lot more horror-y than the actual stories are. He did ghost stories, but they weren't, like I said, they weren't as horror as... Because Edgar Allan Poe shit is, like, pretty horror.
Somebody was asking me about video games.
Where is that?
I think it might have been CB. No.
Hold on, I might have missed it.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
CB, Tom, have you played Cyberpunk 2077 and Lord of the Rings Gollum?
No. I have the Xbox, and it's not the brand new one, it's the one before it. Some of the very new games can't be played on it. Right now I'm doing a remaster of The Thing. That's pretty good, but
that's a cool game.
Yeah, I got sidetracked on that though. That was a game from the 2000s that they re-released. It was cheap too. It was like $6-7. I'm playing Rumble Roses XX, which is like a female wrestling game. And I got Soul Calibur 6 yesterday on fucking sale. It was only fucking $8, I think, $7.99. But the thing is, you know, there's all those little $5 extensions, you know what I mean, to fucking expand the game out. They get their money from you. But I was looking for Soul Calibur 2, the classic, but it's up there. It's just that it says not available. So I don't know why they're not selling it. But it didn't matter because fucking 6 was out. I always liked Soul Calibur, sword fighting game.
Yeah, I'd never seen it. Like Tom showed me some of it yesterday when he got it.
I was playing Ivy.
Yeah.
Sexy ass blonde with the fucking sword, the magic sword that turns into a fucking whip. She's like a dominatrix. Talks all kinds of shit. Jim,
Well, that's
kind
part,
of she got
that's
big
part
boobs.
of the fun, you know.
Yeah. Japanese guys fucking draw the shit, you know. The white girls all got big boobs.
Tom loves the games with the girls with big boobs.
Yeah.
That's why I laughed so much when I saw that wrestling game that you got. I was like, yeah, this is catered right to your demographic.
Yeah. Well, see, I was looking for Soul Calibur, right? And it wasn't there. You know, it wasn't available. And there were suggestions right underneath it was like, you might like these titles. And one of them was Rumble Roses.
It's like, hey,
And it was cheap. It was like $5-6.
Tits and ass.
So I go and think, what's this all about? And I went to the reviews, and the fucking first review, what it says in caps, all right, men, we all know why we're here. And he had 5 stars on top. I go, okay, all right. So I bought it.
Get ready to fat.
Yeah,
gentlemen.
we all know why we're here. And then there's the review started, you know. But I didn't really even read it. It was for $5-6. Like, okay, yeah. Because everybody, it had 5 stars. 5 stars across the board. And it's an old game.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like
It's fun to watch. Jen watched it.
You know what the hilarious thing is? Probably like the women don't even have to be wrestling. It's like they could just stand there and jiggle, and people would probably still buy it.
Well, they actually have that in parts of the games. You know what I mean? There's
Where they just stand there and
if
jiggle.
you lose a challenge, you have to fucking name before the fight starts. You know what the loser has to do, and you know what I mean. You have to do yoga or fucking jump rope, just shit like that.
Jump on the trampoline.
Yeah, jump rope. And then
fucking hysterical.
yeah, then we all know why we're here.
Yeah.
You know, but it is a fun game though. It's a fun game. But it's old school, you know. The new Soul Calibur 6, it's real fluid, the controls, and it kind of a little bit more intuitive. But Rumble Roses is it can get kind of repetitive too. The cut scenes over and over, but you can skip them.
Yeah.
But Jen was amazed as you play. There's a bunch of girls you can play, and some of them you have to unlock. I haven't unlocked them all. I'm not really that far into the game. And each wrestler has his own theme and the things that they do, and the controls are totally different for each one. And as you get better with them and do moves that you hadn't done before, it unlocks more like bar energy things you can do. And then later on, when you go to the gym, you can see that you can work her out and get her stronger in all these areas. And you can also expand her size and her strength. And of course, you can make the boobs bigger.
Because of course you
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Make everything bigger on them. And
But I did like that it's like everything on there looks not entirely realistic, but it's not crazy. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not, you can't give them like big beach ball titties or
No.
nothing like that. They still look somewhat realistic.
yeah. They're the size of a WWE wrestler.
Yeah.
They're like
it
that,
doesn't look
kinda.
like, it's not
Yeah.
ridiculous. You know
No,
what I
they're
mean?
not. It's not like obvious porn.
Although that would be super funny. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's like a version
Yeah.
or a game like that where you
Yeah.
can do that, where you can just blow the fucking boobs up like really big and the ass really big.
Yeah,
You
it's
would think.
probably something that you have to. But I know that fucking I already researched all the fucking hidden stuff for Rumble Roses, and there's nothing like R-rated in it.
Because I wondered about that. Like, when I saw the game and I was looking at all the skimpy outfits, I said, well, is there something where, like, if you get, like, to a certain point, like,
can they just be topless?
Can they just be naked or something like that? Because I figured that would be something for people to, like, work toward.
No.
But I guess, or there was, like, Easter eggs in there where you could, like, unlock.
It doesn't
like
matter
that.
because the bathing suits they have different outfits. Some of them are actual wrestler outfits, and they're kind of like they're tailored towards the character. Like one of them that I play, she's like her whole thing is she's the sheriff, and she's like a cowgirl. So she gets pistols and fucking chaps and shit. So some of them are like that, you know. They're always like themed. Punk rock girl, you know, BDSM queen.
Yeah, I like that one.
Just shit like that. Yeah, and well, there's a swimsuit section, and if you have money and you get money from winning fights, you can buy swimsuits, and you can unlock them too. Because some of them are just question marks. You don't know what's there. You have to do something to unlock it and see what it looks like. And some of those fucking swimsuits are basically fucking spaghetti string.
It's just anal floss.
So yeah, spaghetti string, barely covers the nip. Barely, there's nothing really in the back. It's just fucking string.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. It can. They got shoes on. Because and you can customize them, put fucking knee pads and elbow pads on them. But the reason why there's swimsuits in there is because some of the stuff happens on the beach.
Yeah.
So you gotta wear a swimsuit for there. And then the other stuff happens in arenas, so you gotta wear different costumes there. You can wear a costume anywhere, like you could wear a wrestling outfit on the beach. It's just that I think you miss out on bonus points and the ability to unlock certain things. You have to be in character.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It is a funny game to watch.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Flameno Nosferatu says, Jenny, I know you mentioned a number of channels, like Dr. Wolfula. Yeah, I love Dr. Wolfula. But have you ever listened to the Horror Geek / Sick Flicks with Mike Bracken? Yes, I have, actually. He's from Florida. Oh, I didn't know that. I did know that, I think that the Sinister Cinema, I think they're also from Florida. And I watch them all the time, too. But, yeah, I've seen Horror Geek Sick Flick. That is a good channel. Like, somebody was asking me in the email, sent me an email and was asking about YouTube channels that I watch, like horror reviews and stuff like that. And I was trying to, I have a bajillion, and I can't keep up with all of them, you know what I mean? Because I don't have a lot of time, but I forgot to mention that one. But that's one that I do watch, like, from time to time. I also really like Grumpy Andrew. He's a British guy, and he's real into, I don't really know, does he even do any new horror? I think he mostly does old shit, and he's real into, like, Hammer and all that kind of stuff. But I like him a lot too. I'm trying to think of, like, other channels that I like, but it's kind of escaping me at the moment. Who's that one guy? Pizzowell, however you pronounce his name. I like that guy too. Ben says, Tom, have you played Orc Massage?
No.
Orc Massage?
Sounds good already.
Huh. Sounds like some of that animated porn.
Sounds like animated porn.
That we were watching the other day.
Yeah.
With
all kinds of wild shit.
With the lady orcs and whatnot.
Yeah, it's all... There's a whole fucking category of fucking 3D virtual reality porn based upon fucking World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And
it's
all
massive.
The characters.
I couldn't believe how much fucking animated porn there is, like, based around World of Warcraft.
And, they're having sex with fucking monsters, werewolves, fucking...
It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, centaurs, fucking the orcs and the humans, and they got big fucking green, busty fucking orc chicks with tusks and shit. Fucking funny.
Oh, Phantom corrected me. Drum Dums is from Florida. Yeah, I like him too. That's right. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Drum Dums, he's from Florida. But yeah, I don't think Sinister Cinema are. Somebody said they were from Arizona.
If you want to see the World of Warcraft porn or any of that kind of shit, you go on fucking... Go on a fucking... It's called Rule 34. Rule 34 video. They got it. Just open up an account there. and it's free. They're just fucking making shit and trading it. And you just look at World of Warcraft and fucking get one of the real long ones, like a 3-hour video, and it's a bunch of edits, little fucking 15 seconds clips just thrown together. And the quality's good. They work hard on that shit, sound effects and everything.
Some of the voices, acting is like actually, I was like, wow, this is way better than it has any right to be.
They got some artists that hire fucking like famous voice actress chicks from that scene, and they pay them to do the voices. They're saying some wild shit. You know what I mean? And they're credited and everything, and then the guys will hire that girl to fucking do voices for their characters, and it's all happening online. Funny, but the thing is those dudes do make money. Because they have Twitter accounts. And they have a following on Twitter. And every video that they make is a commission from a dude.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the dude gets the copy early. But then part of the agreement is that it will be shown to the public. So you can see all the work that's already done. It's just that if you want a video, you're going to have to fucking talk with him and fucking pay him and cover all the expenses because voice acting costs and shit like that. So
it's time consuming.
Yeah, so I would imagine these dudes are spending hundreds of dollars for it.
Because some of this stuff, I mean, you can tell like who really went all in and who, because some of the stuff is just it's essentially just a long GIF where it's just like the same motion over and over.
Yeah.
But some of them are like actually really long,
like porn scenes.
Yeah, and people actually went to all this trouble to like make a little bit of a, not really a story. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean, but different scenarios and different settings and things like that.
Yeah, and it's World of Warcraft characters, superheroes, video game characters. If there's any hot video game character chick, she's gonna be on there. They're gonna have like porn scenes with her.
I didn't think that I would be into that, but it's weirdly hot. Some of it is
because there's no limits.
Yeah, because they can kind of show anything.
They can show anything.
You know what I mean? That's true.
And it's not realistic.
Yeah. And I do kind of like the monster stuff.
It's kind of like a moving cartoon. And this shit's fucking kinky. They're wild, man.
Yeah, because like you said, you can.
There's no limits to anything.
Yeah, you can draw anything. Yeah, not really draw, but you can digitally.
And you don't have to hire anybody to do it.
Yeah. Which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. In the video world, you have to hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Now they do have. There are people out there that you can hire them to do anything, any kind of weird shit. They'll do it. Yeah. But when you're going to see Wonder Woman, having sex with Catwoman. You don't see that.
See, you never see that in real life.
Right. Or Catwoman and Harley Quinn going at it. And they're impossibly proportioned. They're not normal. They're just crazy. I could probably show some of it because it's not all nude. Let me show some of that.
Well, you can do what you want, but
okay. Where's my? I'll give it.
Full Metal Nosferatu said, "I've made friends with him over who we was talking about before, Sick Flicks. Over the last couple of years, he's really cool. Love his sense of humor. I need to watch more of his videos actually because he does a channel called Sick Flicks, like a horror YouTube channel.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've watched him several times, and he also recommends Movie Dumpster, Hack the Movies, and Doom Generation. I've heard of Hack the Movies. I've seen some of those, but the other two I don't think I've ever heard of. Because what I'll do sometimes, I have a bunch of subscriptions to different horror channels, but sometimes if I want to see a review of a particular movie, I'll just like search for that movie, and so sometimes I end up seeing channels that I was not previously aware of. You know what I mean? So I might have very well seen some of their reviews of various things. Tom and Jenny, what do you think about Game of Thrones getting a movie? I hate to say this because I probably really dig Game of Thrones. I have never seen Game of Thrones. I know that that's probably illegal in this day and age, but but I've actually never seen any of it.
Yeah,
I probably should get around to it one of these days because it does sound like something I would like, but I don't know. I'll get around to it one of these days. I promise.
I was never really gave a shit.
Yeah, they're talking about the Wolfman movie because that Wolfman movie is coming out this month sometime, which actually looked really good, like from the trailers. And they made that one in 2010. That was the one with Benicio del Toro, right? I remember I saw that in the theater, actually, I think. If I remember correctly. I remember it being good, but I think it kind of got shit on him somewhat. Like, I thought the critics didn't really like it, and I thought it was kind of like a bomb. But I remember liking it, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I should probably rewatch it at some point. Yeah, American Military said Sick Flicks is such a fun channel. Yeah, there's really, like, so many good, like, horror creators, like, out there, like, doing movie reviews and stuff. And even they don't even have to even really be, because like I said, with the British guy like Grumpy Andrew, like it's not even like high production value or anything like that. It's just kind of a cheap camera, and he's just doing it in his living room or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's just him talking. He doesn't have like cool lighting or anything like that. Some of them do. Like I said, Dr. Wolfula is kind of more of the high end production value, like with cool editing, and he's got a costume and all this other kind of stuff, but it doesn't have to be like that. Let's see. Only Catwoman is Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, she was a really good Catwoman. And Dead Meat is a good horror channel. Yeah, that is another good one. There's, like I said, there's a lot of good ones. I even kind of like Possessed by Horror, that Australian girl. That she has like long red hair. She does a lot of like watch-alongs, like come to the movie theater with me and like reactions and stuff. She's younger, and she's like real into. I feel like she's real into like 90s and 2000s movies, which I like some of those, but I'm not super into it. And it's like I feel like some older movies, like she's not really into them, so I'm kind of. So I'm kind of a little bit about her because of that, but other than that, like she has like pretty decent opinions on new stuff, but I haven't seen any of her new videos in a while. Phantom said, I just came across a 70s version of Hansel and Gretel called Hansel, Gretel, and the Sensual Witch, which I got a DVD copy from eBay. Hopefully it's not a porno. Just kidding, but seriously. I never heard of that. It sounds like a porno.
All right.
Actually, it sounds like softcore, probably.
This is basically what it looks like. There's Catwoman showing up. Look at those impossible proportions on it, chick. And it's got voice acting.
Gee, I wonder what's in that box.
Gas got her. And I'm probably gonna have to fucking
You might
turn it off after this. All right. Harley Quinn catches her.
I remember.
There's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they're fun.
So that's it.
Oh, American Military says, there is a YouTube channel where a chick puts on makeup while discussing true crime. Yeah, that would be Bailey Sarian, and she is awesome. I love her.
Jen knows the scene.
She's not the only one that does that. I don't know. She might have been the first one, because she does what's it called, murder mystery and makeup or something like that. Like every Monday she puts one up. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of her shit. She is like adorable. Like she is so fucking funny, and she has like a really really dark sense of humor, like kind of what we have. And she's done some of the same cases that we've done, but she'll do a different makeup look every time, like while she's talking about the case, and it's just like she's super super funny. But like I said, I saw so there's other channels that do that same thing, and I guess they got the idea from her. I don't know if she's the first one to do that. She's the most popular one by a long stretch, but I saw another one. I can't remember the name of the channel right now. I think I subscribed to it, but because it was a good video, but it was like it was a redheaded woman, and she did the same thing where she was talking about a true crime case and like putting makeup on. She wasn't like quite as funny as Bailey Sarian, but she was still like pretty good. But yeah, Bailey Sarian actually, she doesn't just do true crime. She also does like weird history also. Like she has a different show that she does. And that one's like actually pretty high like production value, that one. Because she got like pretty well known. She's got like a couple million subs, I think. But yeah, she's delightful. That's probably one of my favorite channels, honestly. I should probably show you that channel. You'd probably dig her. She's a trip. I mean, of all the like weird history and true crime shit, like she's probably the best one. And the guy that does Time Suck, that comedian, holy crap! Because remember, I told I should play you. It's long. It's like 2.5 hours or something. But I should play you the show that he did on Albert Fish. Because I think that is fucking seriously one of the funniest things that I ever heard. It was, oh my god, it was... Because he's the same. He goes off on... Like I said, he's the guy that, like, he'll do... I don't know if he did the Albert Fish one, like, on anything, but he'll do some episodes, like, on LSD or ayahuasca or something like that. It's just... And they're real long, and it's just like, oh my god. I can't remember. Like I said, he did one on acid one time, and I can't remember what the topic was. But he did one on the Twin Flames cult. Remember, we did a show on that a while back.
Which one was Twin Flames?
Oh, yeah. And that one
dating cult.
That one was super funny too.
Yeah.
But he's done a lot of the same shit that we've done because he's been doing it a long time. But he's a stand-up comedian also. That's how he started. But he has this whole podcast. It mostly started as a podcast, but now they have the YouTube show too, and he's like his whole... It looks like it's in his basement, actually, but it's like this whole studio setup. But he's fucking hilarious. The like fucking... I still think about sometimes the Albert Fish one where he was talking about the fucking... I don't even want to say, but it's just because it's gross. But it's just... I still think about it sometimes, like it's making me laugh. Him doing the Albert Fish voice.
Just he does a voice for Albert Fish?
Yeah. And he does like fake commercials, and it's just, oh my god, it's so fucking funny. You really have to see it at some point. It's something else. Like all of his shows are funny, and I haven't seen them all obviously because he does a lot, but that was the funniest one. He did one on Bass Reeves too. Remember we did a show about Bass Reeves? Yeah. He did a show about Bass Reeves too that was really good. I actually watched that one before we did ours, so I didn't repeat too much information. You know what I mean? DVD Dragon asks, Tom, do you think Alexander Skarsgård was natty in The Northman?
No.
Probably not.
No. But I don't,
Well, he was in Infinity Pool, and he wasn't big. He's not a big dude. So I imagine they had to, like,
he was
pump him up for that.
Yeah. How old is he?
I don't know how old Alexander Skarsgård is.
He's over 35.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He's on test. Most of those dudes who are actors who have to make a living looking a certain way are on test. Now, if you're Danny DeVito, your whole gig is to be short and fat. He wasn't on test.
That's the way to go, because then you can just eat it whatever you want. You don't have to look good.
The worse you look, the more jobs you're going to get.
I know.
Okay.
See.
Right.
Smart.
But DeVito had his own gig. All right. He's supposed to be one of the nicest, most normal person in Hollywood, with like a normal wife and a normal life.
Well, and I think isn't he married to what's her name that was on Cheers?
I don't know.
And I thought they've been married like forever.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought.
But
the little frizzy haired.
I don't know who that is. I've never seen Cheers.
Well, you would know her if you saw her.
Okay.
She's been in other shit too, but.
But no, when I saw him, he's a tall guy and he was pretty ripped. He wasn't fucking a massive like jacked dude, but he was in good shape. And to me, it was obvious he was on test and working out. Look, man, I don't mean to fucking be an asshole to you dudes, man, but fucking if you're over the age of 35 and you're not on test, you're missing out, man. You're kind of dumb. All right, because your body's natural production starts to decline, so you want to replace it with synthetic hormone, and you'll live longer and have a much better life. Now they got these dudes, oh well, I don't know about my prostate, or I don't know about, and they get scared. All right, but they're listening to the propaganda. All right, fucking the medical industry is a lot of it's lies. Testosterone, there's no patent on it, and the entire American medical system is based around selling patented medicine and having the government pay for it or the insurance companies pay for it. That's all it is. You go on test, man, then that means you probably won't get diabetes. That means that they're losing money. Okay? If you get fat, then they can make money with your fucking lipids and fucking you dying and having heart attacks. That all helps them. They're not here to make you better. Don't you notice that they just treat disease? They don't cure anything. They just treat. They don't worry about curing diabetes, which there is a cure for it. They don't worry about curing all this shit. They just want to treat it because that's where the money is. And it's not me saying this. I know doctors. They'll tell you, they're friends of mine. I worked for one of them, fucking like Dr. Matt. He'll tell you, yeah, there's a lot of... He was always kind of like, the medical industry is like, it's a business. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Now, take test. Be a lot better. And they got people brainwashed into thinking that it will hurt you. Well, it'll make me impotent. No, it won't. Now, it'll be like hormonal birth control, but women go on birth control all the time. Because if you're injecting test, then your own body's natural production will go away. Okay? And fucking sperm count will go down. That's okay. There's a cure for it. It's called Clomid. It's a cheap little pill. Not even $1. I think it's 50 cents a day for that. And that'll keep your shit working. Nuts like a fucking big old peach underneath there, just working like crazy. So you have a choice. If you're going to inject test, you can keep fertility or you can let it go. It'll come back when you come off test, but at my age, I'm never coming off of it. But the thing is, I'd like to have some big balls. What do you think, Shan? Big
sure.
balls, not right? Big balls. Yeah. Plump.
Phantom says, Rhea Perlman. Thank you, that's her name.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's wife,
Yeah.
From Cheers. CB said, my girlfriend does photo shoots of herself murdered, and one guy paid her £1,000 for a picture of her gutted.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that.
A lady, my ex, was being paid, because she was also an erotic performer, her and Tony. They're selling custom videos. One of their main customers for a long time was, guy was paying to have videos of Tony mock drowning her in a fish tank. And they faked the whole thing.
Some people are into that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should, you know what? Maybe that's something I should look into, like doing murder shoots, because that's something that I could do. And that would be fun for me, because I love horror shit.
Yeah.
And some weirdos will like pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah. Scary. She stopped doing it though, man, because the dude that was paying for her.
That's the only thing is like you gotta watch.
Dude that's
man.
paying for her.
She turn up at your fucking house and stuff.
Yeah, she fucking.
Because one of the dudes
came outside a fucking store and he was standing there.
Yeah.
He goes like, "It's me."
Stalking her a little.
Yeah. And she's like, she got scared and she goes, I just wanted to make sure you were okay. And she goes, yeah. He tracked her down.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah. And he had a fucking fetish involving suffocation and drowning.
Yeah, which that's
okay. I don't think he'd actually do it, but a dude that would actually do it has that fetish.
Well, see, that's what I mean, and that's where, we've talked about this on some of our serial killer shows. It's like I would never like cast aspersions on people with particular fetishes, other than when we talk on Wednesday's show when we were talking about the actual necrophilia. Obviously, don't do that. But it's like I don't have a problem if people have a fetish where they're just like pretending like they are into like their partner pretending that they're dead.
Yeah. Or pretending anything.
Or pretending anything. Like, they're not hurting anybody.
Nobody's
like, everybody. So, you know what I mean?
No crimes are being fucking made.
But it is true that sometimes people that do that stuff in real life sometimes do have that fetish. But you can't cast aspersions on everybody that has that fetish because 99% of them would never do it in real life. It's just a
most
fantasy.
of those vores, those people that are fetishize eating people, most vores will never kill or eat anybody. It's just a fantasy.
Of course not. It's like a tiny fraction of a person.
But every dude that does kill and eat somebody
has that.
Is a vor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it's they're trying to eat through survival, or it's a tribal situation where you're eating an enemy to gain its power.
It's the same thing where they always say, like, when somebody does a murder and they're just like, oh, they watched horror movies or played violent video games or something like that. It's like, look, millions of people watch horror movies. Millions of people play video games. Only a tiny, tiny fraction of a percentage ever do anything like that. It's obviously not the media that's doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just so happens that people that already have those proclivities maybe are interested in that kind of stuff. But there are also like millions of people that are interested in that stuff that would never do anything like that. Yeah. And most people would never do anything like that.
Yeah, Phantom, you're right. Most actors are not natural. The women too. If they're not on some kind of steroid or hormone, then they're doing shit like clenbuterol, which is asthma medicine. Me and Jenny take it, but it mobilizes fat reserves. You burn fat on it. Okay, it's not that expensive either. It's just you have to know how to get it. You need VPNs and fucking. You're gonna have to fucking cryptocurrency and shit. And it's over the counter in certain countries, but not in this country. But there are people that get it to you. And no, they're not. And here's another thing that a lot of people have a hard time accepting, but this is absolutely true. Pretty much everybody in the Olympics and everybody in pro sports is on something. Now, they may not be on something during the event because they drug test them before the event. They test them before the event. But during the training for the years in the off season, yeah, they're on all kinds of shit. That's how they're gaining so much muscle and mass. And even the children, go look at those little gymnast girls that are like, what, 13, 14 years old? Look at those legs. That ain't natural. That's prima bowling. Those girls are on steroids. And you know, some people are like, oh, they're not on steroids at the time of the event. But for the years in training, they're on prima bowling. And it's safe. And people have been doing it for fucking decades. Prima bowling does wonders on women. The problem is it's just so expensive. But they can afford it. And yeah, they'll give children steroids. And they'll turn out fine. It's not as dangerous as people think it is, if you know what you're doing.
Leslie says the sisters in Ginger Snaps do those types of photos. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking too of Harold and Maude, where he doesn't take photos, but he just like pretends and does fake suicides, to freak his mom out.
It was performance art.
I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, the Ginger Snaps girls. I love that first one. I like the second movie too. The first movie brought me back to the 90s, man. Fucking hanging out with
Ginger Snaps is so good.
Hanging out with my first wife and all her little goth friends out in fucking Pass Christian, Mississippi. They were like that. Yeah, kind of like country. Or not really, they were on the coast. But just that's the way goth girls were. And they did shit like that. Decorate the inside of their houses and you come and help them paint, and shit like that. It was just fun.
Yeah, it was very...
it was a different time.
Obviously somebody that... The people that made that movie, knew about the scene back then, because that was very much.
It was over at Melissa's little cottage that her dad built for her, and her and I were painting her living room in the colors of an Egyptian tomb with like red and gold and black and shit, while we were listening to fucking Art Bell. You know what I mean? It's just another time, playing goth music and stuff in between stuff.
That's fun though.
Yeah. Switchblade Symphony.
I mean, you can still do that now. Nothing's stopping you.
Just that when you're younger, it has a different kind of feel to it for some reason. Because I don't know, when you're young, you're just, I don't know. It's a new, everything's kind of a new experience,
Well, I think as you get older, you really have to kind of cultivate. You have to not get jaded and not everything sucks and everything, because I really never wanted to get like that when I got older, because man, being around people like that are older and don't ever want to have any fun or do anything like that is just like a bummer, you know what I mean? CB said Tom just had sex, it's the best exercise.
That works too. Senior Stick says it's not cheating, Tom, if you're not in competition. He says, Tom, are you saying that there are no natural Olympians or ballerinas? No, they're all on something. It gets so bad right now, evidently, that a lot of the bowlers are on steroids.
Well, see, the thing about it is that once, X amount of people are on it, everybody has to go on it, because you can't compete anymore if you don't. Yeah. Now,
not all steroids are the same. Each steroid has its own strength and weakness. Just because I say a bowler is on steroids, he's not taking the amount and the kind of steroids that say like a power lifter or a fucking open class bodybuilder. It's not what he's taking. They'll be taking some other shit to help their endurance and help joint lubrication with their fucking arm and all that, Any advantage. And some of those guys are older. So, he's coming up on his 50s, he's got to be on something to go out there and compete. It's bowling, No, they're all on something if they're serious. That's why they look so different. Very few people can look like that. Especially beyond the age of 30.
Zach says, I watched The Abyss the other night. I kind of want to rewatch that. I saw that in the theater, and I don't think I've seen it again since then, but I remember it being really good. It's one of those movies where the behind-the-scenes stories are almost more interesting than the actual movie. Also, you guys should do another show about the disasters on movies. That was a fun one. Yeah, I have been wanting to do like another one of that because I don't even remember like we did one like that before of like behind the scenes stuff. I think the only one I very vividly remember we talked about was Twilight Zone the movie where Vic Morrow and those two kids got beheaded by the helicopter. And we might have talked about Wizard of Oz and maybe The Exorcist. I kind of feel like those were on there, but I could be remembering it wrong. It was a while back. But yeah, I'm surprised we haven't done The Abyss yet.
Yeah. Full Metal Nosferatu asked me something. Read that up.
Tom, last week you mentioned HGH. You're 100% correct about the way athletes' heads or faces change. Barry Bonds has a medicine ball head, and Peyton Manning has this island Earth forehead.
Yeah.
He look like Brack.
Yeah, well, HGH is more known for doing things like you saw in Sylvester Stallone before he had his face redone, you know, in that fucking Rambo fucking... What was that? The Fight Continues. His face was a little bit kind of fucked up.
Yeah, what was it called? The Something Continues.
Yeah, The Fight
Something's
Continues.
continuing.
It's a great movie.
I don't know what's continuing.
HGH has a tendency to make your lips get bigger and your nose to get bigger. It can distort your face. When you talk about the medicine ball head and shit, where guys, their heads will get really round. High levels of testosterone will do that. The 19-nortestosterone branch steroids like nandrolone phenylpropionate, not so much trenbolone, but those will kind of cause you, because they produce a lot of progesterone in your system, make you sensitive as a motherfucker. Okay, contrary to what people believe, a lot of bodybuilders be watching a movie, they start crying in the movie, you know.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, because they got all this progesterone, they're all sensitive and shit. But that progesterone will, for some reason, makes a lot of guys' faces get really round. But it's temporary. When they come off of that particular steroid and the progesterone's worked out of their system, it goes back to normal. But if a dude's sauced to the gills on fucking nandrolone, a lot of times he's fucking got a round-ass fucking face and head.
What was that stuff that you were on that time that you were complaining made your face roll around?
You saw it. Yeah, I had my fucking... I did my fucking driver's license photo.
He had to renew his driver's license photo?
Yeah, man.
And he took the picture and he's just like, look at this fucking picture, man.
I was running a regular testosterone base and then taking Clomid, but I was using injectable Dianabol. And Dianabol is a classic anabolic steroid from like the early 60s, I think maybe late 50s. It's like testosterone, just some of the little molecules or the atoms are fucking rearranged on the molecule to make it more potent in certain ways in terms of muscle building. But it has weird side effects. One of the things that it does is that it aromatizes into methyl estrogen. Not regular estrogen, methyl estrogen. It's a type of estrogen that your body has a hard time getting rid of or breaking down. And that methyl estrogen in your system will cause your face to get really fucking bloated. I didn't really gain much physical wise in terms of like size or anything and I did it for a couple months from Dianabol. But I loved being on Dianabol because it made you fucking, your swag was off the fucking charts. You felt like you were the sexiest fucking thing in the universe. And it was because of that methyl estrogen. You'd think that it would be tested doing it, but no, you're walking around like a damn fucking tomcat slinking and shit. Like, yeah, you know, you just have a very sexual shit. You're just a very sexual feeling all the time. Now, those side effects, like I just explained, like that, had I stayed on that longer, it would have gone away. Had I continued to jump on and off that over a period of years, like be on it for 3 months and then come off for 2 months, then go back on for another 3, eventually those side effects go away. It's just your body doesn't react. At my age, if you were younger, the side effects would probably be there. But at my age, my body, because a lot of those side effects have to do with your body trying to counteract what you've taken. So your endocrine system's trying to produce other hormones to achieve a hormonal balance. My system's so fucking old because, you know, I'm fucking pushing 60. My system's so old, it doesn't fight anything. I just inject shit now and it just goes, okay. It doesn't try to fucking counteract
whatever.
it. Whatever. It doesn't try to counteract it. So I don't have to take estrogen blockers or progesterone blockers, and I'm fucking sauced right now. I'm fucking sauced. I'm on 1,800 milligrams a week of a mixture. About half of it's maybe about a little less than half of it is testosterone, and the other half is 2 forms of nandrolone, NPP and then Deca Durable, and which are great classic ones. And you see, I'm not real bloated. I'm fucking very lean right now and fucking kind of dry. I wouldn't have been like this a couple of years ago though, because my body would have been trying to fight it. But now I've just adapted to it. It's normal for me to be like this.
Whereas my body, you put most things in it, and my body's just like, know what? I'm just gonna ignore that.
Yeah, she's a non-responder. You can give her any kind of drug, and she doesn't do anything to her.
It doesn't do anything.
You have to give her a lot.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's the craziest fucking shit ever. Yeah. But I've always been like that. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's like I don't know if this is related, but it's always kind of like, because as far back as I can remember, even illnesses, I very, very, very rarely get sick.
Yeah. Like
maybe once a year I'll get a tiny cold. I'll have the sniffles for like a day or two, and then be like, okay, that's gone. But it's like I don't think I've ever gotten the flu. I've never been so sick that I had to stay in bed ever. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like I'll get sick, but it's super, super minor. It's just like a minor inconvenience, and I'm just like, oh, that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? But it's just never really stops me. And it's just the same thing happens with any medication.
Yeah.
I'm given medication and it doesn't do jack. It does nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I don't know.
When Jen started to do hormone replacement with me, and it's hard to do purely female hormone replacement because it's hard to get progesterone and estrogen through a lot of the sources that I get my shit through. I've been contacting them. I said, man, if you can get estrogen and fucking and nandrolone, or excuse me, and progesterone and estrogen, just be able to work on females with that stuff, you know, in hormone replacement. They said, yeah, but they were like, we may have that in the future. It's just that the demand right now is not high for that. And I was almost came back and said, well, if you offer it, it would probably sell it. You know what I mean? But I think most of their customers are male.
Yeah, that's.
But a lot of those guys have wives, and a lot of those guys are trainers. I found out through the comment section on that thing on that site. It's an international broker that's doing it. And the guys that are commenting, I realized about fucking 1/3 of them were cops. That's cops taking a lot of that. Because cops take it. They got dangerous jobs. I'd be on it. Fucking yeah, I'd be sauce to the gills if I was fucking a cop. But what was I getting at?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, Jen. When I started off with Jen, I went through all the stuff that was recommended by all the pros to give to females, and it did nothing to her.
Nothing.
It didn't do anything, except it made her voice a little fucking deeper.
It did do that.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
That was about it. So I just went, fuck it. I'm going to straight up give her fucking mad steroids. I started banging her up with fucking like male doses of nandrolone. She immediately blossomed. It's because she's a very low responder. It takes a lot to get her body to respond. And I think you actually respond with less now. It's kind of like you've accepted the programming. Your cells now know what to do with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. Still, it seems like most things, it's not super dramatic. You know what I mean?
Jen's thighs are just fucking getting muscular and real shapely. Her booty's getting fucking more popping out and getting bigger. That's why we haven't done a video, man, because we're going to wait till that shit's fucking right. Maybe in a couple more months. So you can see, you'll obviously see the difference through the videos. She walks around in these fucking bell bottoms and shit, and I'm just being like, I'm gonna fucking jump on that shit. She's going up the stairs in front of me, coming over to the second floor, and that shit's just fucking moving like that. I'm going, coming back from the club, I'm fucking grabbing that shit like that. She's like, I'm gonna fall. Because
my balance is not
I'll catch
super
you.
good.
I'll catch you. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fall on you. Yeah. We're both gonna fall into the wall.
I'm gonna fall.
Because I always have like big boots on and stuff, and it's like. Tammy said it's because Jenny's a redhead. And Zach said, yeah, redheads have a weird time with certain meds. Need more than the average person, I think, and a higher pain tolerance than most people. I have heard that. And in my experience, because if you don't know, I am a natural redhead, but I just, dye my hair and wear wigs all the time. But
my dad was a ginger.
Yeah, but that is something that I've noticed throughout my life. I do have like a very high pain threshold, and not really medication.
Funny
doesn't
thing
really work
about
on me.
red hair actually exists in a lot of different fucking races, but usually with Caucasians, Western European people, red hair is kind of associated with like Celts and some of the Germanic peoples, around Ireland, Scotland, and usually what's associated with green eyes, because I have green eyes.
Yeah.
And I got those from my dad.
Although your hair is dark, you have like really
it's
dark.
black.
You have like pretty much
Originally it was
naturally black hair.
Yeah, that's because that was actually my mother's natural color.
Yeah.
But she had green eyes, and my dad was a ginger with green eyes. So I got green eyes because both my parents have them.
Yeah, because I'm sure, green eyes are recessive, yeah?
Green eyes are the rarest color.
And they're very rare.
I think it's 3%.
I think you're the only person I know that has green eyes.
Yeah. I think it's 3% of the world's population. Somebody can check it. I think it's 3% of the world's population has green eyes, I think.
Something like that. Because I heard that redheads were only 2% of the world's population, but
Yeah.
that could be totally wrong. I'm not
Could
sure.
be, probably. And then I think the green eyes, I think the 3% of the world's population, and I think it's only 13% of the Caucasian population. They're mostly Caucasians that have green eyes. But you have black people that have green eyes. I knew a guy that had green eyes and was black. And evidently, it originated in Africa. That there were people in Africa long before they walked into Europe that had green eyes.
Well, I'm pretty sure all of the genetic variation is from Africa.
Yeah, yeah. There's like either 13 or 18 genes that control eye color, and for Caucasians, it's a certain gene pattern to give green. And there are other people that have it, like Middle Easterners sometimes have them. But it's not quite the same genes that are being turned. The combination isn't quite the same. It's like a different gene packet.
Yeah.
They're still green, though. It's just that they're getting them a different way.
Yeah, I guess, everybody, my mom, my dad, everything like that, they all had real dark brown eyes.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up with, real dark brown eyes. Actually, my eyes are actually quite dark, but my brothers are black.
Yeah.
Pretty much. My youngest brother. I have two brothers, actually. But
when I was young, my hair was basically black and it would fade out to red. Like the tips would all be red in the sunlight. And I don't know if that was because my dad was a ginger or if that was just what the sun does to black hair or Caucasian black hair. Because my hair was real fine, too. It was like spider silk.
Yeah.
Each little individual hair was tiny. Real fun. Like it wasn't thick, coarse hair like Asian hair is kind of fucking thick, coarse feeling. It's not like that. It's fucking probably like 1/4 that diameter. But if you have hair that fine, chances are you're gonna start losing your hair. There's something about the hair follicles that make hair like that don't really fucking last.
Although the weird thing about that is I have super fine hair too, but it's super, super thick.
Super thick. You got a lot of it.
And as much of it falls out,
Yeah.
it seems like it never gets any thinner.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It gets fucking everywhere. I can run my toes across this carpet right here, and there will be
probably pull up some hair.
Pull up a whole bunch of hair. It's just I try to clean it up, but it's just it's everywhere. Senior 6 says, speaking of balance, where is Pookie?
She's looking around.
I think she's in the bedroom.
She was still in bed asleep.
Right before we did the show.
Yeah.
She saw Daddy.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey, can I have a meat stick?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I got stuff to do right now." And she looked at him like,
she's like, "Oh,
are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
My sister bought her a new kind of treat for Christmas that we had never had before. What are they called? Bonkers.
Bonkers.
And I had never had them before.
Temptations.
And the thing about it is we bought her because she loves Temptations, and Bambi loves them too. Like that's like crack, you know what I mean? We bought them different kind of treats before, and they were always kind of like, meh, not so good. But these ones that my sister bought, man, she was into these.
Yeah.
And she would ask for them specifically because Tom had the bag like kind of tucked up in his nightstand, and she specifically would go up in his nightstand and root around and pull out the bag like these ones.
Yeah.
Like she wanted those. So we ran out today. I looked on Amazon. They had those, but they were like in bigger packages and they didn't have the flavor. I think it's like cheddar chicken and catnip or something. So I had to go on Chewy and I bought a couple more bags of it.
Phantom's talking about the 96 Island of Dr. Moreau. He liked the movie. I liked that movie too.
Did we review that?
I don't think we did. I like the movie.
I thought we started watching it the other day and then like we fell asleep or something.
That was kind of like Fairuza Balk's fucking last good movie, from what I remembered it. You know what I mean? She didn't see her or anything after that. I don't know what happened to her. She was around. She was standing behind me one day at one of those fucking conventions that we did. Yeah, we were waiting in line for coffee, and she was right behind me. I didn't know. I didn't recognize her. She's cute, but she just doesn't look like you think she looks.
Well, she doesn't look like Nancy.
She doesn't look like Nancy from The Craft. No. I mean, she doesn't look like that girl from Island of Dr. Moreau either. She's gotten real thin.
Yeah.
Real thin, yeah.
She was also in Return to Oz when she was a kid.
Yeah.
Which I reviewed on my other channel a long time ago.
Yeah.
John says, I was born with red hair, but it darkened over time to dirty blonde naturally, and with blue-gray eyes from my mom. Yeah, I just... Weirdly, like, I'm pretty much the only redhead in my family. I have 2 cousins that are also redheads, but my dad has black hair, and my mom just has kind of brownish hair.
Yeah.
And all my siblings, like, my youngest brother has black hair, and then my sister and my other brother have kind of brownish hair, but my hair was, like, red, like orange.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but...
CB said blondes and gingers always go bold. I don't know what he's talking about. I think he meant
I guess bald.
either that or he's saying they always go black. Because fucking
I thought he probably meant bald.
A lot of the ginger girls you fucking see have a black boyfriend. I don't know what it is about gingers and black guys.
I'm sure he meant bald.
Yeah,
because he said blonde and ginger guys.
Guys. Okay,
bald,
yeah. Come on, yeah.
And CB says, yeah, I love redheaded women that are covered in freckles.
Yeah.
Weirdly, even though I had red hair, I never really had freckles. I have freckles on my shoulders, but I never had any on my face. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of weird. Because I knew some girls in school that had, like, really red hair, and they were just, like, covered in freckles, like your classic redhead that were just, they were twins, actually.
Piebald. Piebald with all little freckles all over them.
Yeah. They have freckles all over.
Yeah.
And their hair was, like, red, like, almost like a... I don't want to say it was like a bluish red, but almost like a purplish red. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas mine's like very like a coppery orange is what color my hair is. But I never had freckles on my face. I have them on my shoulders, but that's about the only place. I don't even know if they're there anymore.
There was a girl who used to live across the street from me when I was living in Michigan as a kid, going to high school. She was ginger as fuck, man. I wanted to date her, man, but I never did ask her out. Never had a chance to ask her out. Didn't have any classes with her or anything. She would have said no, though, probably. She was taller than me by quite a bit. Although, actually, no. Looking back, she probably would have said yeah. Tall girls didn't nobody to ask them out.
Yeah, tall girls have a hard time.
Yeah. But she had beautiful, like, copper-colored, bright red, almost metallic hair. And freckles all over her. Face was just one mass of freckles. She was cute, though.
Yeah, I knew some girls like that.
Yeah. Just ginger as fuck.
Ginger as fuck.
Even her soul was ginger. They have soul. Gingers have souls.
They do.
Yeah.
Contravening what they say on South Park.
Yeah, they say they don't have soul. Gingers have souls.
I don't think anybody has
It's just
souls.
a ginger soul. The soul itself is ginger.
Ours are much better. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Sador 6 says, Jenny, would you get freckle surgery if it was paid for? No, I wouldn't bother. Honestly, if I was going to go through all of that surgery, it would have to be for something like a lot more significant than that. I don't really think about freckles one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like, oh, gee, I wish I had freckles so bad that I would actually, like, go and have surgery to have them. I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, I can see how some people would, but...
They got girls painting freckles on their faces now.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that.
That's part of their... Yeah.
Which, like I said, I understand that. That's, that's cool. Whatever. Like I said, if people like that and it's like they don't have freckles naturally and it's like, man, I wish I had freckles,
Yeah.
You can paint them on there. It's like, shit, man, I shaved my eyebrows off and draw them back on. So I can't really like judge, can I? You know what I mean? It's just easier. Just easier than fucking tweezing them. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. There's very few things that I hate enough about myself that I would get surgery to fix. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we got his money.
Ooh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness.
That's a big
we
score.
got a big super chat. Thank you very much, Titanic
I paid
Discussions.
tonight's expenses.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Tom and Jay. Well, happy New Year to you too. And everyone, what did you folks think of the new Salem's Lot? Thanks for all the great shows. It was...
We reviewed it.
Okay. Like, yeah, we did a live stream about it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
It wasn't bad.
But I mean, the Toby Hooper one is obviously far superior.
It's the ambience is better. Although it did have some cool shit that they added to it. You know, it did have... It expanded it. It expanded the story quite a bit over the Toby Hooper version. But I think I still like the Toby Hooper version. It's creepier.
Well, and it was longer, so they could explore a lot more, character development, and they could do like a lot more with it, like more of the book. I kind of feel like in a single movie, because when I first saw that it was coming out, I thought it was a series. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I was like, oh, it's just a standalone movie. So they had to cram a lot into the one, because that's kind of a dense book, I feel like.
Yeah, and Mr. Barlow looked cool as shit. I think he looked better in the first one, in the Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper version, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actor, Reggie Nalder, he was in some other stuff. He was in a lot of stuff back then, because he was just kind of interesting. Look, he was a very prolific character actor at the time. I think he's passed away now that if I remember correctly. But I remember he was in some episodes of Thriller, and I think he was in some Night Galleries and stuff like that. And but he had like a real pockmarked kind of... He always played like villains or characters like that. But man, the makeup they did on him for the 70s one was like super cool. But I didn't mind the remake. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just kind of there. It was just kind of middling.
Best vampire movie is the new Nosferatu. That's the best vampire movie.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Do you know our friend Shauna has already gone to see it 3 times?
Yeah, she liked it.
In the theater.
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny. I kept seeing it just like on... Because I guess it was her birthday, and her husband went and saw it like for the 3rd time. Because he's like, well, you want to go see Nosferatu again for your birthday? She's like, fuck yeah, I do.
It's a good movie.
I thought that was so funny.
Nosferatu.
CB said, why would you want to remove something that makes you look even more beautiful? I'm assuming he's talking about freckles.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Man, you don't understand the fucking cultural forces of stupidity. When I was living in Brazil, as a kid, I was going to a private school there called Escola Graduada de São Paulo, and it was just fucking American kids who were they were the children of people that worked in American corporations, and in my case, in places like Firestone and R.J. Reynolds and shit. In my case, my mother worked at the consulate, so I was government. And then they had the other half of the students were super rich Brazilian kids. Man, we had Brazilians are fucking funny, especially back in the 80s. The girls all wanted to have fucking big asses, big thighs. They had that genetically, but they wanted to also be almost flat-chested. We had girls in high school that just had fucking gorgeous, like, fucking D cups and shit. All right? By the time they were juniors, and they were going and getting them lopped off because they had the money to. And fucking the other American dudes like, what the fuck? These bitches are crazy, you know? And it's just because the beauty standards of that culture. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? You're going to go like, hey, that doesn't look as good? Because they think it looks better. They think having big boobs looks better that time.
The thing about it is that you can't really... It's hard to remove yourself from the cultural context of the time you grow up in. Yeah. It's like, that's why I kind of feel like it's better now, where it's just kind of like... Everything is just so diffused, and so there's something for everybody. So it's like every body type is kind of like appreciated. Everything is kind of appreciated somewhere, like in some niche, which I think is much healthier. Yeah. Because I kind of feel like when there's one overriding beauty standard of any time, that's really harmful, because anybody that doesn't live up to that is going to feel like an ugly troll and is going to try and like fix it. Yeah. And when they were probably perfectly good the way they were.
Thank God they don't do that in Brazil anymore. American porn and American culture got into them. These, I think, probably starting with like Pam Anderson Okay, and big boobs became a thing, and girls that didn't have them started to get implants in Brazil. You also get butt implants and BBL, Brazilian butt lift. Now they invented and fat transfer. They're big into it because it doesn't cost that much there. That's why they do it. But it costs too much to fly there, though. You're talking probably about 4,000 round trip, probably for 2 people to go there and back, and it's a long fucking flight. So it's not really worth it to go there just for cosmetic surgery. That's why it's not a destination for cosmetic surgery. You can get it done in Mexico. Similar price too, probably. Although I trust Brazil over Mexico, probably. Although I heard they got some good fucking.
Well, there's a whole industry in Mexico.
They say that
it's much cheaper.
Yeah, fucking Mexico's come up quite a ways since when I was a kid. Remember when I was living in California, if you talk about going to Tijuana, that was like a joke. You know what I mean? Tijuana now is fucking nice, man. Nice. Got nice restaurants and everything. You can go on Google Earth and look at it. Not the way it was when I was a kid. Nice nightclubs, fucking beautiful restaurants and shit. It's developed quite a bit. So
yeah, nothing's like it was.
Nothing like it was. Yeah,
back in the day.
Mexico City's beautiful. Got a great goth scene and shit. Fucking some famous American goth named Voltaire lives down there, and his Japanese wife living down in fucking Mexico City.
Well, he has a house down there.
You could get a mansion for.
He has an apartment in New York City too. I think they live part of the year.
This 2-story fucking house in Florida on a golf course was $275,000.
No, 475.
400, yeah, $475,000. Here it gets a nice house on a golf course. In Mexico, this would be a fucking palace for that. The thing is, though, is that you don't need a house that big. The bigger the house, the fucking more furniture you need, and you're not using it. If you fucking
we don't use most of this house.
Yeah, if you look at the mansion scene, most of those dudes that buy mansions don't only live in a couple rooms, and fucking they keep most of the fucking mansions shut down and closed down. They're not there. Nobody comes to see them because all his peers, they have mansions too. They don't give a shit about your mansion. So what are you gonna do? Bring a bunch of broke dick friends over who don't have mansions to hang out in your house and fuck it up? No. So the mansion scene, man, a lot of those dudes sell those mansions off. It's just more like a money thing, real estate thing. But thing is if it's not in a real high volume or a high demand area like fucking Bixby Knolls or Beverly Hills or some shit like that mansion's worth nothing once you get, because they can't sell them. If it's out in a normal place, we got mansions right here. There's a fucking one of these little housing complexes around here has got huge mansions on it. I've never seen it, but they said it's just because the trees block it. You can't see it from the roads. I forgot where it was, but they have straight up mansions there. If you bought one of those and then sold it, you probably take a long time to resell it. If you're in a country area and they have mansions out there, you'll never sell it. So best thing to do is just tear it down and fucking break the property up into smaller pieces and sell that kind of shit.
Just sell it for the land.
What's that? Sell it just for the land, yeah.
Because no one's going to move out here unless they wanted to move out here and build a house. Mm-hmm. It's like it's going to be very rare to find somebody else that's going to move. And if they have the money for a mansion, they're going to want to build their own mansion. Yeah. They don't want your mansion.
They don't want your mansion. They want their own mansion.
That might be fucked up and they don't want it, so they can just start over. Yeah. So it'd probably just be better to sell the land, to be honest.
They're called McMansions. Like McDonald's, because there's companies that make them, and you can pick them out of a catalog, and there's all kinds. It's just like you go through a computer program, or I want this kind of column. Okay, I want this, and I want it to be this color, and then you go through a 3D walk room and everything. You execute, and fucking they'll make that exact house that you asked for, and it's all on standard layouts, floor plans and shit. And but the thing is, though, is there's no resale value. You won't be able to resell that because it's in a location probably where you value that location, okay, more than somebody else. And then the house was picked out to your specifications. Another rich guy wants his own specifications. He wants your house. He wants his own mansion, brand new. It's like luxury cars. Reselling a luxury car, you're going to fucking lose your ass. You got a great car, but... And then the second guy, third owner, they're making out like a bandit because now he's got a fucking badass luxury car, you know what I mean? Fucking Lincoln Town car, you know what I mean? Which was fucking maybe $60,000, $70,000 when it was new. And then fucking 10 years later, it's selling for $4,000. That's how they ended up in the hood. And a lot of them fell into bad ownership. They couldn't keep up with no upkeep. and they started falling apart. If you look at Lincoln Town cars, used Lincoln Town cars in this area look much worse than fucking Grand Marquis. So I got a Grand Marquis, and that was the level below it. It was the executive class, not the fucking limousine class. The executive classes over time fucking held up better because they were in the hands of fucking working people. The town cars were in the hands of rich people, and then they ended up in the hood, most of them. And then they just fell apart. They were destroyed. If you have a good Lincoln Town car, like our friend Angel, she's got a beautiful one. She was using it for her limousine service, but she drives it around now. She's got a huge fucking bumper, wraparound bumper, like something you fucking can knock cattle off of the way. And she was thinking like Escape from New York. She says, "Yeah, man, if riots ever break out, I can fucking just ram my way through shit." So I was like, okay, yeah, good deal.
Yeah, so knocking all the zombies aside.
A zombie apocalypse. Although I thought about getting that, not for that purpose, but for deer, because we live in places where you can hit a deer. And there was a time I was thinking like, what if I'm coming back kind of loaded?
I'd be way more worried about that than zombies or riots.
Yeah.
That's a lot more likely.
Yeah.
I almost hit a deer one time going to work one morning when it was still dark. But I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Full Metal Nosferatu points out Reggie Nalder, the same guy that played Mr. Barlow, was in Mark of the Devil. That's right. I just reviewed that movie not too long ago. And he was also in The Manchurian Candidate. Yeah, he played a real piece of shit in Mark of the Devil. That's a great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
Recommend that fucking movie we saw from Esther from last night. What was
I did already.
What was it called again?
Bram Stoker's Shadow Builder.
That's right, Shadow Builder. Bram Stoker's Shadow
Like,
Builder.
very low budget, but Michael Rooker was in it.
Good movie.
And Tony Todd was in it.
Good movie. Well made.
It was much better than I was expecting.
Yeah,
I thought it was just going to be some, like... It was, like I said, low budget, but it was, like, way better than I was
Michael Rooker plays a priest who's had combat experience in Africa, all right? Or Rwanda, that's where it was. He was involved even in some slaughters in Rwanda. And it turned out the Catholic Church trained him as, like, a security type agent. And in this movie, he's wielding 2 fucking Glocks, dual Glocks with little fucking lasers, 90s era lasers underneath them, fighting demons with guns and possessed people. And the church got him on a secret. It's a good movie. And he ends up hooking up with the cops. And this demon's pretty fucking cool. It's kind of like a vampire in a certain way. Talks a lot.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, he talks a lot. Says a lot of cool shit.
We got another super chat from Victor.
What's up, Victor?
Saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Victor.
Thank you very much. It's so funny because this night makes the most money, actually. I don't know why. The main shows don't.
Because we're just like having some fun.
Partying makes money. Let me go get make your.
Oh, Phantom says, is the 1974 film Phantom of the Paradise a good film? Because I've been meaning to check that out.
Yeah.
Is it a slasher film? No. It's actually kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show a little bit. It's kind of like a musical Frankenstein-y kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of like that. It's kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you like Rocky Horror Picture Show, you will probably like Phantom of the Paradise. Also, it has Jessica Harper from Suspiria. And she's just cute as a bug in this. Full Metal Nosferatu said, I remember Vanilla Ice had his abandoned Miami Mansion flipping series back in the 2010s. I remember hearing about that, but I never saw it. Because I know that he went into like construction and house flipping, like after his music career, if we want to call it that. But I never actually saw it. But yeah, I just always kind of felt like, because look, man, I mean, if I was a millionaire, I wish, and I was gonna build a house someplace, I would want to build my own house. I don't necessarily want it. Well, now, okay, unless I found like a really old, cool house that had been like restored that looked all like gothic and shit. You know what I mean? Like the house from fucking The Changeling or something. I might do that. But, because man, I've seen some like old like Victorian houses in horror movies that I was just like, oh, wish I lived there. I might want to live in like an old castle or something like that. But if I was going to build a house, I would want to design it the way I want it. I wouldn't buy somebody else's shit. And especially not out where we live. Because honestly, you know what I mean. I'm from Florida, so it's not. I don't know if this would really be my destination. If I had millions of dollars and could live anywhere I wanted to, I probably would not live here. There's just a lot of shit I don't really like about Florida. There's some stuff I like about it, but there's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. And where we live, it's nice. It's kind of quiet and stuff like other than when our neighbor turns his fucking stereo on in his truck and rattles the walls. But, I mean, but there's not a lot out here. It's kind of rural. And you kind of have to drive like 20, 30 minutes like to get anywhere. All we have by here is like a Dollar General and a Publix and a Dunkin' Donuts and a Circle K. And there's a good Japanese restaurant, to be fair. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Day of the Dead is real in Florida. That was just that one time. I mean, stupid shit does happen here, like, all the time. But, like I said, stupid shit happens everywhere. I just think that everybody hears about it more because we have that sunshine law where anytime you get arrested, like, your shit's public. Because some states will have it where it's like if you get arrested for something, like, you can't release it or you can't release certain details. In Florida, they're like, nah, man, we're going to put that all over the fucking internet. Like, anyone can look it up. So it's much easier to access arrest records like because they're all public. So some states don't have that. Florida does. So you're going to get like... I'm not saying that this isn't a crazy fucking place, because it is. There's a bunch of insane people. I kind of feel like all the insane people from the rest of the country move here at some point.
Wait, we talking about Florida?
Yeah.
Well, it's the South, and it's like one of the best states in the South. So it's going to attract people that were causing a lot of trouble out in the fucking country. They couldn't survive in a small town because they keep getting fucking arrested by the cops. So they might drift into this area where they don't quite attract as much attention. They might actually kind of fit in. But then, Florida man's going to Florida man. All right, he's going to do some shit like she's going to fucking show up to the drive-in window,
and toss an alligator in.
Throw an alligator in. He's going to fucking throw an alligator in.
As one does.
Yeah. That's what he's going to do.
The Frosty was a little bit melted.
Yeah.
He got a little bit annoyed.
This shit ain't no good. And he's throwing a fucking, hey, again. He's going to throw a grenade. He's going to throw a fucking alligator at him.
To be honest, if I saw that in front of me at Wendy's or something, I would not even be shocked. I'd be like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be peak Florida right there.
Or there's going to be a white one and a black one, dudes, and they're going to get high as fuck off of fucking bath salts and start making out.
Yeah, somebody was
in the middle of the fucking road outside the hospital, and the black dude's going to eat the white dude's face.
Yeah.
That was real. That actually happened.
And we've never heard the end of it since. Because we thought this is ground zero for the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, we were like, has the zombie apocalypse started? You know what I mean? Fucking, I was like,
everyone's making jokes about that.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, the Art Bell in me was like going like, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe we should consider this.
Maybe we should start stocking up on gasoline and ammunition.
Worry about the coming zombie apocalypse. What if this is just the first cases? We have to consider
this is how it would happen in real life.
Yeah. What if
you
it's
get
mutating?
one dude eating somebody's face, and then before you know it, lockdown, people eating everybody.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. This place is crazy, but it's very cool. Very cool.
Like I said,
Jem's from here. She lived her whole life pretty much.
So there's a lot of
England and
a lot of shit I don't like.
So she's kind of like, yeah, fuck this.
Like, fuck this
I feel the same way. You know what I mean? From certain places where I lived for a long time, but I've been all over the world. I appreciate Florida. Florida's fucking got a good mixture of things. You can go to the city, and it's a decent city, and there is a lot of cool shit.
There's a lot of cool shit. There's a good goth scene here.
Yeah.
There's good like museums. There's good like the theme parks are fun. There's fun shit to do.
You can come out here outside the city and within the farmland and live decently and fucking be nice and quiet, except for your redneck neighbor who's fucking
that's what I was.
That's the only problem.
I just mentioned that when you.
That bitch won't last forever though. We're gonna get him out of here, or he's gonna leave.
I keep trying to send vibes. I know this is mean, but I keep trying to send vibes. It's like maybe he'll have a stroke or something.
He needs to fucking move. I think he's younger than me though.
So but that he might get hit by a bus. You don't know.
Yeah. Might end up in prison.
Happen. That could also happen.
Might end up in prison. There's no way of knowing. But
just gotta think positive.
Yeah. And what's weird is that I first moved here about 15 years ago. And when I first arrived, I was in this area, working in the horse farms here. Because, my family business, part of the family business we had was fucking English equestrian thoroughbred horses. So I grew up around horses. So I was barn manager. I could manage an entire fucking stable, a whole barn, and fucking 30 horses. I fucking feed them all the drugs they needed, turning them out, bringing them in, grooming. I could do all that, I like the job, but in Florida, it's fucking hot. Okay.
That's really probably, other than the cockroaches.
Yeah.
I think
cockroaches
that's the main thing. I don't mind spiders. I like spiders, but cockroaches can suck it. The main thing I hate about this place, other than being kind of backwards, is I don't like the weather. The weather sucks.
No.
Except in the wintertime.
Here's something else. And when Jen first met me, I was still doing that.
The horse stuff.
Fucking, I'm semi-retired now. My VA money's rolling in. I can. That's good enough. Although there's a barn I could go back to right now, fucking, and manage it, just up the street, the old place where I used to live. I could go run her place. I don't want to though. One of the reasons why is because if you become like a barn manager, you're now babysitter for all these fucking horses. If a storm comes, you got to drive out there and make sure to fucking prepare them for the fucking storm, Or if you're like, oh shit, man, it's gonna get cold tonight, you got to go there and put blankets on them
and stuff. Yeah.
And you might be at the club at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're like a doctor on call.
Yeah, you'd be like on call all the time.
So I don't really want that type of. I'm too old for that now. I don't give a shit.
Oh, Nancy said, she knows what I'm talking about. Regarding the time suck episode on Albert Fish, now my favorite catchphrase is showbiz. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my god. And I just heard it in his fucking voice too. Oh my god, I have to show you that. It was like, you might not think it's as funny as I do. I mean, I think you probably will. But holy crap, I just about peed myself laughing at that shit. It was so fucking funny.
Terry says she thought Australia was hot.
But Florida sounds real.
Yeah, it's not so much the heat, it's the humidity.
Yeah, I mean, here it just feels like, even if the temperature is only like 90 something,
late 80s or high 80s,
or high 80s, like literally when you open the door from your nice air conditioned house, it's like a wall
of steam,
of wet.
Yeah, it's a wall of ass crack. Just like
it's like
cats will ask to go out. You open the door and the shit hits them in their face, and they go,
"Why?" And then they look at you like it's your fault, like you did it.
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, fuck that." Hot out there.
I'm covered with fur. This is bullshit.
Yeah, they forgot about that.
Yeah,
they forget that it gets hot.
Because it's like, it's like a solid.
Yeah, it's like a wall.
Kinda.
It's 100% humidity. At 80 degrees, you can't sweat. So your
so you just walk out and you're like,
your cooling system doesn't work.
Like it feels like there's saran wrap.
Yeah, like you covered yourself in saran wrap, and then you go into the sauna.
Your whole body.
Imagine you cover yourself.
It feels like that.
Imagine you cover yourself in saran wrap, and then go into the sauna. That's what. It's like.
Like you can't breathe.
Yeah, you have
It's horrible.
You do adapt to it. I mean, I would work out in it, but I was miserable.
Yeah, it's horrible.
The horses were miserable. You could tell they oh man, like I know it's fucking hot, man. You get in there and you put them in the wash rack and put the cool water on them, and they don't want to leave. Like no, keep going. No,
yeah, it's like all you want to do is just lay there. You can't like you feel like you can't move.
They want to come out of the wash rack. No, put the cold water on me.
Like I said, one time, like a couple years back when we were at the house in Sanford, like we had that bad hurricane and the power was out for 2 or 3 days, and we had to like fill the tub up with ice when we still had ice.
Yeah,
and we had to take turns sleeping in it because it was just too hot. Like you couldn't. Everything started to mold. Everything started to smell.
Yeah,
like it was like the carpet started to smell. The walls started to sweat. It was just, it was horrible. It's like wintertime here is more pleasant. Like it's still kind of warm most of the time. Like it's in the 60s, 70s. But sometimes it goes down into the 40s. Sometimes it'll even go down and it'll freeze. But that's pretty rare. But it does happen. But it's usually at least like now. Like today, it was probably in the 60s today. but it was sunny out, and like I went outside and I was like, wow, it's actually like really pleasant. Like it wasn't cool, but it wasn't hot either. It was just pleasant.
Yeah.
And the sun was out, but it wasn't like obnoxious.
CB said we had spiders the size of dinner plates. He said, fuck that, he's going to stay in the UK. They're not the size of dinner plates. They're like the size of a Mexican tarantula. But they're like a wolf spider, a hunting spider.
I have seen
and those
one.
are the ones, man, that used to drive me crazy. The barn was infested with them. They lived up in the fucking roofs. You couldn't get them all. They were getting down in the fucking horses' waterers all the time. You had to scoop them fucking, they'd drown in there. You had to scoop them out. And they were just... One of them was running on a fucking wall one time, and it had an ass on it the size of a ping pong ball, like it was pregnant or something. And I fucking kicked it with my fucking boot, and it fucking exploded, and the fucking juice from it hit right in my fucking mouth.
Ew.
I was like, oh, man, my face, man, spitting that shit out. Oh, man, it was terrible.
I would have just gagged.
It
for
was
like
bitter.
A week.
Super
Yeah,
bitter.
I
Like,
guess so. Ew, spider guts.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's nasty. That just reminded me of the one time that my brother told me this horrible story.
Yeah.
That he was working on his house, like renovating his house in the summertime. And he's like, so I was working and shit like that. And he's like, I had a can of Coke or a beer or something like that. And he'd like left it for a little while. I don't know how long he left it. When he like went off and he was like working and stuff. And then he went to drink it and it was full of roaches.
Oh, yeah.
It was full of roaches.
Because the sugar water. Yeah.
And he was...
Where was this now?
Here, it was in Ocala. Where
did he set it down?
Just on, he was working on his house, so it was kind of like, and he just said, I guess it was like outside or, in a part that was kind of open.
Yeah, you can't turn your back on something like that. Not out in the
wild.
No,
you can't. Actually, my grandpa used to do, as a cheap roach trap, was he would take a wine glass with a lip that went in like that, and he would put a little bit of cheap wine in it, and then put Vaseline around the rim. And the roaches would climb in there, and then they couldn't get back out because it was too slippery. And then you come in the morning, and the wine glass would just be full of cockroaches.
Dead roaches,
Yeah. We don't have... In this house, I guess because we have... we sprayed the shit with super industrial pest control.
Yeah, I got a fucking sprayer. And
we don't have too much trouble with roaches in this house. I do see the occasional silverfish... But
I haven't seen them in a long time.
Usually, and honestly, I think if a roach gets in the house, one of the cats will probably eat it.
Yeah, we'll find it. It'll be pieces of it. A cat killed it. Yeah.
They come in. Beijing is a roach eater.
Yeah, she eats them.
She just eats them and leaves one leg.
Yeah.
As a warning to the others.
Yeah, or like the head.
Yeah.
Or the little fucking what do you call them? The wings.
Yeah. So you'll find it, and you'll be like, oh, she's been snacking.
Yeah, those big-ass fucking palmetto bugs, it's a roach about that long. It's fucking reddish-brown. They can fly.
Yeah.
All right? And as big as that cockroach is, it can squeeze itself down to be so fucking flat.
Like a piece of paper.
It can easily go
anywhere.
Underneath a door. But I've seen them
behind your cabinets.
Yeah, I've seen them in a cabinet and then fucking vanish in the at the 90-degree angle where the cabinets come together.
A tiny paper.
And like, how the hell did it get through that fucking?
They just squish themselves down to like paper thin.
Yeah, like a size of a paper. Yeah. Yeah.
They're revolting. And look, I love all animals, but cockroaches can eat shit.
Yeah.
I would not be sad if they died out.
You just got to keep poison in the place. Which that reminds me, I'll spray some. Well, it's wintertime. But I'll
you don't see them as much in the wintertime. Yeah. We haven't seen them as much in this house. Like, my grandmother's house from the old days, like, she had a lot of them. But it was an older house, and there was, like, a lot of gaps that they could get in. And, man, I have so many horrible stories, like, from that. Like, one time, I took a t-shirt out of my closet that had a breast pocket. And I put the t-shirt on, and a fucking huge cockroach climbed out of the breast pocket. I just about shit a brick.
One time I was laying next to her in bed in the middle of the night, and I woke up, and there was one of them on crawling up, ran across front of my chest.
Before,
and I fucking grabbed it, and I crushed it, and fucking threw it. I was like, oh, fuck, and I had to get up and wash everything and fucking get that.
It's so gross.
It's in the middle of the night. Yeah.
I had that happen.
Run right across my chest.
At my grandma's house, I woke up in the middle of the night, it was really dark in there, and I heard, they're so big that you can hear them.
Yeah.
Like, running across the wall. And I was like, oh, no. Like, I woke up and I heard it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I felt, boom.
Yeah, they weigh a lot.
It landed on my chest, and I was like, no!
Yeah.
And then, like, I flipped out. I woke up. I turned the lights on and shit, and then I couldn't fucking find it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sleeping in here. I went and slept on the couch.
They weigh a lot, and when you see one that's really fucking active and pumped up, they're big. They look jacked and shit. You'll see them almost standing up on their back 4 legs, and the front 2 legs are looking like that. And they'll look at you, and they'll stand. You'll surprise one of them, and it'll fucking rear up on you and look at you and go fuck you, and then try to run.
It does.
Yeah,
they have an attitude.
They got a super bad attitude. Yeah.
Have
Kind
you
of like
seen
a praying mantis.
Have you seen that meme that says everybody gangsta until the cockroach starts flying?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, then he fly. Yeah.
And also, I remember, this was a long time ago, but there was that comedian Paula Poundstone. She did a special, like, back in, I guess it was, like, the early 90s. And she was talking about being in Florida, and she was talking about Florida bugs. And she said something about, she's like, you could drop, she's like, people drop a brick on it. She's like, if you drop a brick on a Florida bug, in a minute, that brick will start to move.
Yeah.
And then the bug has a weapon.
All right,
You know what I mean?
I'm going to bring up another horror movie. It reminds me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, living in California, my dad would bring me back to Mississippi, where he was from, so he'd visit his mom, as my grandmother. And I was probably about 7. And he used to see those fucking roaches, you know. We had these bug zappers. It'd be outside. It had a black light. And in Mississippi was different back in those days. It was like a fucking... It was like the Amazon basin, man. If there was any kind of light out at night, it'd be swarming with flying fucking bugs, including cicadas, big fucking cicadas.
Yeah, we have those here too. You see them in the summer a lot.
Well, you'd see those palmetto bugs too. And those scared me as a kid. I was like, look at that thing. Nasty. You know, and you'd see them dead inside the house because there's poison out. You know what I mean? You go, look at that. He goes, oh, yeah, poison got it, you know. I was watching TV there, and a fucking movie trailer came on called Bugs, if I remember correctly. And it was about flying cockroaches that when they landed on you, they'd catch you on fire.
Oh, that was
Remember that?
Was that The Nest?
No. The
Nest?
What was it? What was that called? I thought it was called Bugs.
I can't remember what it was called. We watched it like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they were like landing on fucking the telephone.
I think The Nest was also about cockroaches, but that
Yeah.
might be a different movie.
But I saw that trailer and didn't even see the movie, just saw the trailer for it. And fucking,
Nope.
I became petrified.
Nope.
You know, I was like 7. I was like fucking paranoid that those fucking palmetto bugs would fucking jump up on my mouth and then catch fire. You know, and that's what I was thinking. Because I think that's what it showed in the trailer.
Yeah, we watched that movie not too long ago.
Yeah,
But-
we watched it not too long ago, but I don't think I really paid much attention to it.
I can't
just
remember what it's called, though. But there was a cockroach one called The Nest.
Phantom might know.
But
what
I don't
this-
know if it's the same
I
one. Yeah,
thought it
Phantom
was-
probably knows.
I thought it was called The Bugs. And they were some kind of mutant bug that some dude made accidentally or something.
Yeah. It was
They were
something like
radioactive
that.
or something? And
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, they were like explosive or
Yeah.
or something.
They were radioactive or something, and if they got on you...
As if roaches weren't bad enough.
Yeah. And if they got on you, you would catch on fire where they hit you. Where they landed on you.
So like I said,
I think they
wasn't
were
bad enough.
radioactive.
I was gonna say, like, people are talking about what the temperature is. I said here, according to my computer, it is 48 degrees.
Yeah, it's cool now.
Fahrenheit. So it's actually it's quite pleasant outside.
It's winter.
Kevin says, I'm from Florida too, but living in North Carolina, I know very well the muggy hot weather. Used to live in Orlando. That's we're about 30 minutes from Orlando. Gainesville and Coral Springs lived in Niceville, Destin area, which is beautiful. Yeah, I've been to Destin before.
Yeah, he's in North Carolina now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of North Carolina versus Florida? I've never been to North Carolina.
I've been to North Carolina one time.
South Carolina's where that goth-ass fucking cemetery is, isn't it?
Yes.
The one from the fucking Joy Division album cover.
Yeah.
Savannah, right? No.
Oh, okay, no.
No, Savannah.
Savannah's in Georgia.
It's in Georgia, that's right.
I've been to Savannah, too.
Yeah,
but that's
Georgia.
in Georgia.
Georgia, that's right.
Full Metal Nosferatu said, my dad was bitten by a spider in an attic when he was still an HVAC worker. His leg basically got a fever and left a nasty scar on his skin.
Yeah.
His shin, rather. My brother, many years ago, got bit by a brown recluse spider on his knee, or right above his knee. And, you know, he was probably late teens, I want to say. Because I remember this was about the time me and him went to Bad Religion. So I was probably in my early 20s, and he's 4 years younger than me. So he's probably 18, 19, something like that. And of course, he didn't go to the doctor. He was like out hiking or fishing, something like that. And he got bit by a spider. And he was like, whatever, it's fine. And then, as the days went on, you could see the red line going up his leg. Because that's blood poisoning is what that is. And if that gets to your heart, you will die.
Yeah, or you can.
You can die. So finally, we were just like, Jesus Christ, bro, would you please go to the hospital? So he went to the hospital. So I remember very clearly that we went to go see Bad Religion a few days after that, and he had to have a cane. So we couldn't get into the mosh pit because he was like going because he couldn't walk with the fucking leg.
Victor found a movie.
Where is it?
Victor Garcia.
Is it Bug from 1975? That's what Google says.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is then, yeah.
1975 is about right. That would have been
just Bug, yeah.
I would have been 6.
Yeah. We saw it not too long ago.
Yeah, I want to see it again. It's just so I can remember what it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about it.
It's probably on Tubi.
The trailer scared the shit out of me when I was 6, man.
Terry
I remember
said,
the movie wasn't too bad. It was
okay.
It was kind of like the movie about the worms. Squirm. It's kind of like Squirm.
Which was actually kind of a fun movie. Although I like it better, like the MST version is like super good, but they cut some shit out of that one.
Squirm scared me too.
Like, for some reason, I'm not grossed out by creepy crawlies. I don't mind spiders. I don't mind worms. Like, nothing like that bothers me, really.
Those were bloodworms.
Rats.
Those were saltwater bloodworms.
That's what I mean. They were trying to say they were earthworms. I'm like, those are
saltwater worms.
Those are not earthworms.
And the only thing that mystified me fucking watching Squirm as a kid, because I saw it on one of the fucking matinees, one of the monster matinees. They put that shit on. I don't remember what year that was. But I saw the trailer for that, and it scared me. And then they had that shit on television maybe a couple years later. And there was a part in the movie where one of the dudes who gets bitten by a bunch of worms becomes a monster. I never really understood that. Remember that? He comes up out of the fucking... It comes up out of the fucking sea of fucking worms and shit. Doesn't he start attacking people?
That's not exactly what happens.
That's just how I remembered it, I guess.
He actually gets attacked by the worms when he's out with that girl on the boat. Like, they're out fishing.
Okay.
And the worms all rampage.
Yeah.
And they attack him, and they start, like, going under the skin on his face and everything like that. And then does he fall in the water or something like that? But the girl's just like, fuck that. And she just, like, goes back to takes the boat back to the thing. And then he kind of comes back later, like, blah, like his face is all fucked up.
Yeah.
But then the worms eat him.
Okay.
Like, he gets, like, sucked in.
I remember him was
because the house, like, fills up with worms.
Yeah, that's right. And the one dude hid inside the damn trunk.
No, that was a girl.
Oh, it was a girl, yeah. And survived.
That was the main character's younger sister.
She hid inside the trunk, but then the fucking worms were fucking almost 3/4 of the way, almost to the ceiling. And she couldn't have lived, man. She'd have suffocated.
You'd think.
So if they're all worse.
If all the worms were in there,
yeah, she'd have suffocated.
But at the end, she's like, "Oh, I'm fine," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't think so." That's actually not a bad movie, but I think the MST episode was like a lot more fun than just watching it on its own. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let's see. What I saw something up here that I wanted to. I kind of have to pee though. Burley says, "Does anyone remember those Mother Nature Strikes Back movies?" Yeah, I kind of feel like there were there were
Food
some of
the
them.
Gods.
There were some of them in the 90s and 2000s too, but I kind of feel like the 70s was like the big era for like eco horror.
Yeah.
Actually, if you have Shudder, they have a series called Horror's Greatest, and the episode that they just put up is about that very thing. It's about animal attacks movies.
Yeah.
So they talk about Day of the Animals and Frogs and Jaws and Willard and they didn't mention Prophecy about the mutated bear and the big ass dolphin.
Yeah, I love that one.
I gotta pee.
Yeah. Prophecy was living in California as a kid, and Prophecy came out. Well, my aunt Lois, the one from Mount Poltergeist, she would take me, Lois, Red. Sometimes before she met Red, it would just be her, and maybe like my Aunt Paula, who was like my Aunt Paula at that time. That was like one of my mother's younger sisters. At that time, she probably was about 15, you know. I was probably about 6, 7, around that time. And it was fun. We'd go to fucking Redwood Forest in Sequoia. Stay up in the campground. Fucking have all kinds of 70s fun and shit. Around the campfire. All the fucking other campers, you know. A lot of them people in their early 20s, late teens, that come over fucking and they start smoking weed and shit. And then the fucking forest rangers would show up. And the forest rangers had to fucking bring fucking an acoustic guitar with them. And they'd start fucking singing fucking Glenn, what was the guy's name? Fucking Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. What was that motherfucker's name? Glenn Campbell? No. Fucking. I forgot. Anyway, they'd sing all that kind of shit. What was that dude that did Rocky Mountain High? Fucking, what was his name?
John Denver?
John Denver with the glasses. John Denver. Be singing John Denver songs and shit. And in those days, the park rangers, and they were always trying to mac on my fucking aunts, you know. It was the 70s. They didn't give a shit that fucking Paula was like 15 or 16. They didn't give a shit back then. They were in their 20s anyway, the Rangers. And the Rangers had all the weed. It was back in the 70s. Fucking, and they didn't sell it. They'd give it to you if they liked you. And fucking, it was just a fun time. Well, after I was doing all that, one time I was back at home, and saw the fucking trailer for Prophecy. And in that trailer, there's a little boy in a sleeping bag, camping.
It's one of the best scenes ever.
Yeah, and he gets attacked by this gigantic fucking mutant bear.
So funny.
It's mutated by fucking some kind of, I think it was lead or nuclear radiation or some shit. And he sees that fucking bear, and that little boy jumps up in that fucking, and they went there, man. He jumps up in his fucking sleeping bag. He's trying to hop away, and that bear runs up behind him and goes, boom, and slaps him, and he goes right into a fucking tree and explodes. Just fucking feathers go everywhere. And I saw that, man, fucking in the trailer, and that shit stuck with me. Every time I'd go to fucking Sequoia after that, I'd be in that fucking sleeping bag, man, going, oh shit, man, fucking hope that big bear doesn't, I hope a bear doesn't come and slap me into a tree. I'd be seeing that over and over again.
The kid, like, literally exploded.
Yeah. And
now, was that Prophecy or was that Day of the Animals?
Prophecy.
Okay. I always get it. I always, like, feel like sometimes I feel, for some reason, I feel like that's Day of the Animals, but maybe not.
My cousin Wes, he was big into all these fucking Mad magazine books. Not the magazines, but they made books from Signet. They were like little paperbacks.
Yeah, I remember those.
He had thousands of those fucking things, you know. And fucking one of them was like, he had big stacks of Spy versus Spy. And he'd bring that shit camping because we were in a camper, so you could bring it. And they had a little store that you could go to, and it was just like a convenience store, but it had a magazine rack, and it was kind of country oriented up in Sequoia. And they would give me money. You know, my aunt would give me money, or I think my mom probably gave my aunt money for me. You know what I mean? And I started buying creepy and eerie magazines.
Those are so good.
Yeah, I get those. And Wesley would get Fangoria magazine.
Oh, I used to buy Fangoria.
Yeah, and I'd be looking at that shit, and it'd be all this fucking gross stuff, you know what I mean? All this fucking shit from the horror movies.
I used to have all the pinups, like, on my wall and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they had all the fucked up shit from, like, hey, here's,
yeah,
you know, the skin dude from Hellraiser or whatever.
So that might have been around 78. So I was probably about 9. And during that time when we were getting Fangoria magazine and then I started buying Heavy Metal magazine. That had fucking it had nudity in it and sex and shit. They didn't give a fuck though back in those days. They weren't. The 70s was not really, especially California, it wasn't uptight at all. I would drink wine coolers in the 70s as a kid. Under adult supervision, your relatives would let you drink wine. You know, so I'd get kind of semi-hammered. And fucking I thought my aunt invented the fucking wine cooler, but it didn't. That was a 70s thing. They were taking Annie Green Springs wine and just really cheap strawberry wine. It came in a huge jug, and they'd mix it with Sprite or 7-Up. They get it by the 2-liter.
Probably tasted better and went farther. So.
Oh yeah, and it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
They didn't sell wine coolers in
Yeah,
bars.
that was like a later.
That happened later. Yeah, because that became a thing. Girls drank that wine mixed with 7-Up or Sprite. About 50-50 was the ratio. And a lot of times it had ice in it, if I remember correctly.
Well, everything I
They had
drink
ice
has
in
to
it.
have ice in it, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I'm from Florida. I don't want
Yeah.
this. I don't want into this room temperature crap.
They'd make them things. Let me get one of them, and I'm just sitting there drinking that shit. I don't really remember getting drunk though. I don't know if I drank enough, or maybe little kids don't really process being drunk or buzzed the same way. I don't really. I don't
someone
really
do that experiment. Let's.
I don't really remember it.
Not super ethical.
I just remember
sure.
being normal.
Let's get some little kids drunk. We'll see how that plays out.
Well, I do know that I had gotten blasted a couple times because
Yeah,
my
I
mom
remember,
found out.
Yeah, I remember that story.
When I was about 5, I went up to my dad's little dresser, and on top of the dresser he had aqua velvet aftershave. He had a green one and a blue one.
Yeah, they were pretty. Like,
They were real pretty,
colors.
yeah. And
I remember those.
I smelled that shit. I said, "Man, that smells good." I started drinking it.
I bet that would taste real
Yeah.
good too.
I drank both of them.
Because you're 5.
I drank both of them. My mother could tell there was something wrong with me. She could smell it on me. And I was fucking staggering. Yeah, you know. She took me to the emergency room.
Like, what is wrong with this?
Yeah,
thing?
and fucking the doctor says, "What did he do?" He goes, "He drank the aftershave." I go, "Oh, he'll be all right. He'll just piss it out. He'll be okay." And fucking,
Let him sleep.
I had this fucking string, and on either end of it, it had little clips, but the clips were shaped like turtles. And this was back in the day. They would put that over a little kid's neck, and they would clamp a napkin there to make a bib.
Like your bib, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I liked those little turtles. I had those little turtles in my fucking hand. And fucking, I'm in the emergency room, and I'm fucking taking those turtles, and I'm snapping in my mom's face. And I go, like that. And she goes, "What you doing?" And I go, "That's a kitty cat. Kitty cat." She said, "It's not a kitty cat. That's a turtle." And I go, "Oh, kitty cat. Kitty cat." So that was, I just remember that.
You're drunk, little Tom.
Yeah, kitty cat. That was drunk humor. When you're like 4 or 5, I think.
I laughed so hard when you told me
Yeah.
that story.
And
I'm
then
like,
another
that
one.
is adorable.
Yeah, another one.
I've seen pictures of you when you were a kid. That,
When I
was,
was-
that
yeah.
was probably cute as shit.
And
You looked like Damian a little bit.
Yeah, like
To
Damian.
be honest.
And then from The Omen.
Yeah.
And then fucking, and then another one that I did. My friends Jimmy and Mike. Jimmy was the exact same age as me, and Mike was like a couple years older. So I was probably about 6 or 7, maybe at this time. Probably about 7, 6, I think. No, I might have been around 7. Trying to think of what. I think it was before Mount St. Helens, and I think Mount St. Helens.
That was 1980 or 1981.
1980. So it was
I remember
before
that happening.
Yeah,
but-
so I'm trying to place
That
it.
was 80 or
And it was
81.
after the bicentennial, so it was after 1976.
Well, that's 76.
So
Yeah.
it might have been about 77 or 78. I think I had, maybe I hadn't seen Star Wars yet though when this happened. I don't think I'd seen Star Wars, so it was probably 76, which would have made I'd been to 7. Jimmy came over and he had a fucking whole jug of that Annie Green Springs fucking wine. And then he goes, "Look what my mom gave me." And I said, "Your mom gave you that?" And he said, "Yeah, that's
I mean,
wine."
not really.
Yeah. So it's
In the
okay.
sense that I took it
He
from
was just
her.
like Jimmy was just like me. He was just a blonde version. He ended up becoming a chip, a California Highway Patrolman. So we fucking get that fucking cap off the top of there, and it was a big jug that had a little ring that you put your finger in, like on a moonshine jug. It was
Yeah, like those old school
jug. It was like
from
that.
those old like cartoons.
I remember grabbing that drug and fucking picking it up, and him helping.
because it's heavy.
Yeah, because it was heavy. Him helping from one side, and I'm drinking that
There you
shit.
go, chug it,
and then
Tom.
we're taking turns in my living room. All right, and we got fucking loaded pretty quick drinking that shit because
I
we're just
imagine.
drink, and I'm like, that's good, Next thing I know, me and him are out in front of the house, up against the street, on the side of the street where the parked cars were. Cars going by and us drinking that shit. And cars are going by, and then the cars go by and we wave like that. Yeah,
Look at the little wino
And
children.
we're passing this
That's
passing this
adorable.
huge fucking wine bottle. It's like a gallon of wine, And fucking people would pass us and be like dudes giving us the thumbs up, going, yeah,
All right,
like that.
kids.
Like, yeah.
I'm 70s. He's so crazy.
And we're out there doing that shit like that. And
love
then one of the cars stopped by, and it was the fucking, and Jimmy started getting real tense, and I realized that was his mom. His mom goes, "What are you guys doing?" You know, she's,
Oh, that's
we're
where my
drinking
Annie
wine.
Great Springs
We're drinking
went.
wine. He goes, what are you doing with my bottle of wine? And he goes, you gave it to me. Because I didn't give you that.
That's what. See, I suspected as much.
We didn't get in trouble though. We were kids.
I mean, you're little.
We didn't get in trouble.
They don't know any better.
Yeah, I don't think we drank half of it. We might have drank 1/3 of it between the two of us.
That's still pretty funny. Though.
Yeah, so quite a bit of it. They took it from us.
Well, yeah. Man, Wino Children would be a good band name.
Wino Children, yeah.
I think that'd be a good band name.
Well, we were the 70s, man. If you're in your 50s now, y'all know what I'm talking about. Especially if it was in the South or in California. We were raised feral. We were free-range children.
Also, we probably all have lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Although I
Play with
think
gasoline.
the boomers have it worse than us.
Yeah.
Because we're not boomers, we're Gen X.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of a thing.
We used to go
when
on
we were
treks.
growing up.
We used to walk fucking 10 miles one way and 10 miles back to the fucking nature preserve, which was right off the fucking, I think it's called the Los Angeles River. You see it in fucking Greece, you know, where they're racing the cars. It's a big that's where fucking Terminator 2 was fucking.
Yeah. It's a famous location.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of.
We would go to that and
film
walk down through there. We were kind of scared of it, but it was a big adventure. You know, we saw the movie Them with all
From the 50s, yeah,
with the ants.
giant ants, yeah.
And they came out of there. So we were always going in there and trying to fucking watch out for them big ass ants. But they had a nature preserve connected to that. We would go there, try to catch crawfish and shit. And I think that might have been fucking 10 miles. We'd walk all the way there and fuck around all day and then walk all the way back. The only rule was we had to be back before dark.
Yeah, that was pretty much, yeah. As long as you were back for dinner.
Yep.
Like before it got dark. Because your parents were like, just please get out of my face.
Yeah. They didn't do that. Well, it wasn't.
Like, especially in the summertime. Although, honestly, like, we were usually just dropped off at our grandparents' house.
Yeah.
Because my parents always both worked.
But we'd be like 7, 8, and walk all the way down there with a whole pack of dogs with us. Neighborhood dogs. There's something about little boys and dogs, just like peas in a pot. Just wherever you were going, the dog's like, oh, we're going to the nature preserve. Come on. You know what I mean? They would tag along. And a lot of times it was different dogs. Might be like 1 or 2 core dogs, but then there are like 4 or 5 other dogs that would like come and go. Because I remember some of them we knew those dogs, but the other ones we wouldn't. Packs of dogs would run around at certain like places like Carson, California and shit. Going up and down Alameda. Bums would go down there too. And we were always scared of running into bums. Fucking yeah, we had a famous bum. Used to see him all the time. They called him the Alameda Wild Man. And he'd walk down Alameda, filthy, fucking hair, and he was just totally, I thought he might have been some kind of ethnic group, maybe black or something. He was white. It's just that he was so fucking dirty that you couldn't tell what color his skin was. He'd have fucking motor oil and fucking caked dirt all over him. And he'd be running and talking to himself. He's fucking goose stepping and marching like he's in the army. I think my dad thought that he might have been a veteran of some sort. But he knew.
Probably.
Yeah, and
that happens a lot, sadly.
My dad remembers it a lot better than I did because he was an adult. I remember asking him, I said, how old was that old dude? He goes, he wasn't old. He was in his 20s.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh. I pictured him being an old man. He goes, no, he was in his 20s. But we called him the Alameda Wild Man. We were always afraid of running into him. We'd see him. You know, he'd walk down Alameda, which was at the end of our street. You'd see him. Oh, there he is. He'd be walking around in a fucking army field, green, OD field jacket. Which those were everywhere, you know what I mean? But I think
I even had one.
Yeah. My dad thought he was a veteran. And the thing is, though, is that we did run into the Alameda Wild Man a couple times, and he ignored us. He didn't even see us.
He's got his own shit going on.
Yeah, he had his own bum business.
Yeah, he
didn't attack or anything.
A bunch of little kids.
It wasn't like Bums Gone Wild or anything, you know, where they attack. You know, bums attack. Watch out, bum attack.
When bums attack.
Yeah, when bums attack.
That's probably a show somewhere.
If not, it should be. I should make that. When bums attack. Man, there's some good shit on Twitter, man. One of them is bums and drones. It's where people taking these drones and they're buzzing the bums out in L.A. And the bums do different things. Okay. One bum pulled out a gun and started shooting at the drone.
Okay, that dude's awesome.
Yeah, pow, pow, pop, he's shooting
What
that.
would have been more awesome is if one of them just snatched it out of the sky and then ate it.
Well, it's too high.
That would have been super
And then
cool.
another one that they were doing is that he was had the drone with a long string, and on the bottom of that string he had a McDonald's Happy Meal, and he'd fly that to the bum, and the fucking bum would take it like it would drop it right in front of him. He'd take it, he'd be giving it a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just kind of, you know.
What toy did it have in it?
I don't know. Just a little Happy Meal. He's like, yeah. And he's fucking thanking the drone. And then
He's like, is this one of the good ones that has fries or does it have
Yeah.
fucking apple slices?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it was called Bums and Drones on fucking X on Twitter. And Bums and Drones, I think, is what the
That
name
seems kind of fucked up.
You'll find it. They got thousands of videos of that dude buzzing the bums. Some of them attack the drones.
Terry wants us to do a show on the Pike County Massacre. I have written that down. I can't comment on it now because I don't know that much about it. Kevin said, do you see a lot of alligators in your area? I know Disney had that incident with the boy dying a while back. Yeah, I haven't seen any since we've moved here. But I have seen alligators here and there. Like I said, pretty much any body of water around here generally I would assume that it has an alligator, at least one alligator in it. I have seen an alligator get run over by a car by my school when I was a kid. And a couple years ago, well, more than a couple years ago, probably like a decade ago, I actually saw an alligator running across a major highway. He made it. Like, he didn't get hit by a car. But I was just like driving, I think it was US 92. I was driving from Daytona to DeLand. And I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden this fucking alligator he's booking. Just
Yeah, they can go fast.
and he almost, yeah, I mean, most of the time they just kind of sit. Like if you go to the alligator farm, well, you go to the alligator farm in St. Augustine, and they have signs all around that says, yes, they're real. Like, please don't jump in here because they'll eat you. Maybe they probably won't, but you never know. But it's like, yes, they're real. They don't move a lot, but it's like if you get there when at feeding time, you'll see them move, and they can move very, very fast when they want to. So this alligator was running, he was just running. I was like, look at him go. God damn it. And then I was afraid he would get hit by a car because this car was coming the other way because I was going this way, and then like it's like a divided highway, and he went over the median, and then a car coming the other way like almost hit him, but he stopped, and he was just like, thanks, man. And he just kept on going. I was like, I'll be damned.
There's a lot of good Florida man alligator videos. You can find them on fucking Instagram. Probably have a whole bunch of them on Twitter too. But there's one where an old guy, you could tell it's Florida. I could just tell by the fucking side of the road and the fucking way the people looked and the dude who did it.
And the plants.
Yeah, the plants.
I can usually tell by the plants.
Yep. And this dude is trying to catch this alligator. He's probably in his fucking mid to late 60s. He's not in good shape. And he doesn't look like he's from Florida. He looks like he moved to Florida. And there's a alligator, probably about 6-7 foot alligator in the ditch on the side of the road. And he goes in there, directly approaches it from the front, or his face, and tries to throw a white T-shirt over its eyes to blind it. I guess he thought he could then get on the back of it and grab its legs and tie them together. And maybe, like, I don't know. He didn't have any tape or anything because you gotta have some. You
have
tape.
to tape their jaws.
You need duct tape,
shut.
yeah, to catch one. And he throws the fucking T-shirt over its eyes, and that thing instantly retaliates by just grabbing him and fucking thrashing him and fucking him up. It's like, dude, what are you thinking, man? Those things can move, bro. You know, they can move. And it just jumped up and bam, grabbed him and went like that. He's fucking struggling to win. He's looking around like, oh shit. You know, I guess I bit off more than I could chew. And he got away from it.
And this is Fafo, the video.
Fuck around and find out.
That's what I mean. It's just like, I was just like, what are you thinking, dude? It's like, one, I would not approach an alligator in the wild. I just wouldn't. But even if you had to, for some reason, you don't do it like that.
No.
You don't do it like that. Because even though they mostly just kind of sit there, when they want to move, they can move really fast. Faster than you can. So, I would not recommend it.
Most dudes will run up behind one of them and throw themselves on top of the fucking alligator, and they'll fucking hold the jaws shut because they don't have the muscles to open a jaw.
Yeah, they can close them.
Yeah, but they can't open them.
Real good, but like opening them,
Yeah.
So you can actually usually hold them shut like with your
Right.
hands.
And then when you're on there, you fucking hold his jaws shut, and then in the other hand, you had a fucking spool of tape ready, and you put a couple of rings of tape around it. Now it's gonna be fucking fighting.
And it can still hurt you with its tail.
Its tail gonna be fucking slapping. And so then you're gonna grab its front legs and pull those up over the back of it and tape those together. And you can do it with the back legs, flip around, do the same thing with the back legs. Then he'll get tired of flapping, and then you can just pick him up and put him in the back of the truck. And then fucking cut him loose, you know, if you're going to relocate him.
Yeah, 'cause
some
they
people eat them.
They do, yeah.
They're not that good, though.
It's
not
not
good.
great. I wouldn't actually, I've eaten them before.
Yeah.
But
it's dry.
it's not really worth it.
The tail is made out
It's
of
like
meat.
fishy chicken.
Fishy. It's a fishy flavor, and it's flaky, like chicken breast, kind of. It's flaky, but no, more flaky like fish. But it's dry, and it has a fishy flavor to it, and it's not a very good meat.
It's okay, but I wouldn't go out of my way.
No, it's
to
not
eat
worth
it.
not worth the trouble.
Mostly people just eat the tail.
Yeah,
the meat in
that's
the
the only
tail.
place that has meat.
That's pretty much the only
You
place
can
that-
eat the legs, you know,
Yeah.
cut the arms and the legs off and cut the feet off of those, and then there is some muscle there, but it'd be about a little bit more than what's on, maybe like a chicken drumstick.
Yeah.
Be like that.
I wouldn't bother.
Rest of it, there's nothing there.
It doesn't really taste that interesting,
No,
in my opinion.
it's not good enough. Now, some people can cook it better than others.
That's kind of true. Of anything,
I
but-
had some stuff that was smoked. It was pretty good. It still wasn't good enough to go after and fight an alligator to get it.
No.
Wouldn't even kill an alligator to get it.
I wouldn't either.
Just let him be an alligator.
I mean, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's probably my second. My first way I don't want to die is getting eaten by a shark, but my
Yeah.
second is getting eaten by an alligator or crocodile.
I've eaten most of them North American food game, and there are only two of them. Well, that's not really. A lot of the shit that I ate, like squirrel, is not worth the trouble.
And
they
they're
don't-
cute anyway.
You got to kill a shit ton of them to even make a meal.
I would only eat squirrels if
Yeah.
I was like starving.
Yeah.
And had to.
I've never eaten raccoon, but people say it's worse than rabbit. That's it's tough. All right, so why would you kill a raccoon to eat it when they don't taste good? And they're delightful little things. You know, they're got little personalities. You know, use all kinds of videos of shit that people can befriend a raccoon, and you know, come into your house and you can feed him, and then he'll go back out. So they're just not. In North America, the only two things that are really worth killing to eat are deer and elk. Elk is fucking great. And caribou. Caribou is also really good. Caribou is probably better than beef. That's how good that shit is. But caribou's way up north.
Yeah, we don't have them.
Yeah, they don't have them here. But my dad got some on a hunting trip, brought it back. They fucking cooked that shit. They flew in a private airplane, came over fucking Cessna. Fucking came down back where they had him already fucking. I think they killed 3 in the whole party, but they had them all dressed in steaks and everything. You know, they divided it all up. It was already butchered. That shit was beautiful. Another one that I had, it's a North American. It's not a wild game anymore, but buffalo is fucking great. I've had that. Really good.
Yeah, I've never had any buffalo. I would totally eat it though.
Buffalo's great. It's like beef, but it has a good flavor. Really good. And of course, the steaks are bigger. It's big.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of meat on a buffalo.
Which, you know, I could.
The only buffalo you have here now that you're eating are farm raised buffalo.
Yeah.
And they're kind of rare. It used to be you could find buffalo in the grocery store, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
There's probably not much demand for it. You know what? No. If you probably went to like a butcher shop, like a specialty kind of place, they might have it.
Yeah, probably charging.
But it's probably. Well, I'm sure it's expensive. Well,
yeah.
Like I said, I don't think there's much demand for it, so obviously they're gonna pay You're gonna pay a premium for it, I would imagine, because why sell it if like 99% of the people aren't gonna buy it?
We got little cattle farms all around here, and they're little. Most of them, they're like 1 acre. They're the same size as our
property.
property.
Is pretty much all farms around here.
Yeah, they're like 1 acre, and it's got a fence all the way around it, and there might be about 7 or 8 cows in there, and like 3 of them are maybe 3 or 4 of them might be, fucking calves. And I don't know how they're using it. It's like a breeding population, and they're just culling off the top and eating them. And I think most of them, the little ones like I've been seeing, I think are family plots. That's just to feed an American family. I don't think it's commercial.
Well, some of them, it's just like they'll raise enough to feed their family. And then maybe just like some extra, like they'll make some extra money on the side. I kind of feel like that's where we live in Eustis. So around where we are is almost all farms. It's just kind of, but they're small, like family farms. Yeah. So a lot of it's cattle. There's a lot of like kind of horse farms, like horse performing kind of stuff. There's a lot of blueberry farms. What else? Watermelon, citrus. What else is around here? A lot of honey. Like a lot of people keep bees. But like shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a place we know where you can just go get some free honey and you can throw $1 in the bin. And it's just on the side of the road. It's good honey.
Yeah, they just have a bunch of,
honeybees, and they put it in there and leave it out in front.
They just put everything in bottles and just like leave it in a cooler.
Yeah, leave it in a cooler and they leave it out in front. And
leave us a couple bucks.
And it just says honey. And then next to it, it's got a little fucking thing with some money.
We got some there one time. It was good.
Yeah. If you just wanted to take the money or the thing, you could, but they don't care.
Nobody does, though.
Nobody does. This is the South, and it's in a certain area where you just don't do shit like that. Besides, you never know who's watching that thing with a rifle. Watching it through a scope.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do that anyway, because that's shitty.
Well, I bought some from him, and I said, "Aren't you worried about people stealing?" He goes, "Nah, not really." And he goes, "We got so much of it, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. We can't."
That's what I figured. They're just like, even if somebody did take it, big deal. It's like we have so much of it.
They have so much of it, they can't keep
that they can't eat it all. Yeah. So it's like.
Now I was thinking, I would imagine the reason why they use cattle is because cattle will probably have a real high reproductive rate, so you can probably produce a lot of cattle per year. I would think that maybe a buffalo might. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not born at the same rate, and they might take longer to mature, and they might eat more during that time.
Oh, I'm sure. Like it might not. Like I said, it might not be worth it because there's not the demand.
Well, the thing is the meat's good. It's something about for your own personal. You probably get more out of owning 6 cows than you would
1 buffalo,
3 buffalo.
Right,
Something like that. You probably get more out of cows than buffalo, even
and
though
like
they're
I said,
bigger. But
I mean the cows. Like you could, even if you couldn't eat all the meat that you produce from the cows, like you could sell it to like neighbors and stuff like that.
You don't have to mow the lawn if you got a fence around it because the cows are eating all the grass. If you got 6, 7 of them, and they're probably feeding them on top of that, probably giving them cattle feed too. But every time I see them, they're out there fucking eating grass.
You know, one thing that I noticed that just up the street from us, there is a winery. So I'm imagining they grow their own grapes and make wine in there. And I was kind of wondering because I saw the sign and I was like, I wondered if it was any good.
Probably. We can try some.
I was just kind of curious. Like I said, this around here, it's very rural and there's just like lots and lots of little family farms. And a lot of them have, like I said, blueberries is a big thing. There's a lot of blueberries around here, watermelon, peaches, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of horse farms. There's some cattle farms too, but they're mostly little.
By my standards, it's not that rural. Where Jenny's
it's rural-ish.
Yeah, it's right outside the city by a few, So and
like 28 minutes, you're in downtown Orlando.
And Mount Dora is pretty built up. It's a big fucking town, And just up the street we got a sushi restaurant. That's good. We got to go this weekend.
Yeah, maybe we should go.
But I'm getting hungry, by the way.
Again?
I'm getting hungry. I'm trying to put on some weight, man. I got some good fucking weight coming.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying that probably the reason why cows are used is cows are probably more cost efficient.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like I said, even if you were just raising them, if you were raising them to sell, I kind of feel like that would be like a lot more lucrative than... Because, Buffalo, you remember like this was a while back, but you remember like probably 20 years ago when there was like a huge trend for like ostrich meat?
Yeah, an emu.
Like an emu, and they were like even selling it. I even saw it in like Winn-Dixie and shit.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of it.
You could get beef jerky.
And people were talking about, ooh, this is like the biggest new thing. And it's like, it didn't last long. It lasted like a minute.
Yeah.
But some people were like, I kind of feel bad for people that probably like went all in on like ostrich farms and stuff, and then they lost their ass. But I've never had ostrich or emu meat, but I kind of feel like it might be the same thing because buffalo meat would be kind of like, that's like a niche market. Most people don't eat that. Like most people down here eat beef.
You could grind buffalo and make a great hamburger.
Of course you could.
And make great fucking carnitas.
Yeah.
Make, you can do anything with that. And when I'm talking about buffalo, for you people that don't live here in the United States, I'm not talking about water buffalo. We're talking about fucking American bison. That big old thing with the fucking horns and all the fur on its head and shit. They got farms with them on there. You can get that meat. There are no wild ones anymore.
No.
They're all gone. The only ones you have are on farms. They're out there. They're not endangered or anything. I just haven't seen that meat around in a long time. I used to see it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it being that expensive. But
Well,
I like
said,
beef.
there's some butchers around here. You could probably go to a butcher and see.
Yeah.
I would imagine that was something that was more like a niche market.
Yeah.
Like if you went to a butcher shop, they might.
The
still
best
have
meat
it.
I ever had though was caribou. Caribou's fucking
See, I don't think I've ever
fucking
had that.
great, man. Imagine beef that already has fucking sauce on it. That's the only way I can describe it.
It already has sauce on it.
It's like it's already got Worcestershire or something.
Like
you know?
A1 or
It's
whatever.
already got sauce. Yeah, it's like a better version of beef. Even though it's like a huge deer. It's a different species, but it just had it's a different species than a cow. It's not a cow at all. But it is a beef-like experience. And tender. Good, yeah. And you can eat it rare. We were eating it rare. It was fucking delicious.
Well, I would hope so because that's how I like my meat.
Yeah, we're eating it rare. Like, this is good, man. They're like, oh, yeah.
They always, every time I go to a steakhouse, I'm glad that like now, because for a while, I feel like bitches like me that like super rare meat, they were a little afraid to do that because they were like, we don't want to get sued for like food poisoning or whatever. But it's like the steakhouses we've been to recently, I was like, bitch, rare, and I'm not kidding. So it's like, and they've done it good. Because sometimes they'll overcook it and it's like medium rare, and I'm like, which is still okay, but no, I want it like still bloody.
Yeah.
I want it still bloody. It can still be a little bit cold in the middle even.
Yeah.
That's fine. I like it like that.
Used to be the Chinese.
I'll even eat burgers like that. I know that's gross.
Used to be the Chinese because of their fucking food sourcing used to be real shitty, especially here in the 80s and parts of the 90s. The Chinese won't eat any raw meat. Every meat they ate was fucking just overcooked. And
see, I can't hang with
yeah,
that.
there were some Westerners, the fucking
overcooked meat is just
that
so
would go there and
bad.
just complain.
It's such a waste.
Said you could not get any good beef
Such a waste.
in China, and if you got a decent beef, they cooked it to fucking death. And if you said no, I want it mirror, they wouldn't know what the fuck you were talking about. They was like, that's raw. You can't eat that. It says yes, you can. They don't.
I can and I will.
Yeah. But evidently, the Chinese have caught on.
And they're like, oh, it's much better.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah,
Come on,
because
aren't you?
they come here and they go to barbecues and fucking steakhouses and shit. So they now brought that back to China, where in their real good restaurants, you can get filet mignon and you can get that bitch rare.
Oh hell yeah!
And,
Ooh, my mouth is watering just thinking about it.
Yeah. I'm a cook. I'm a professional cook. Rare is not raw. It's cooked. It's just that it's not so cooked that it changed the color of the meat to brown. It's still cooked.
It's just brown on the outside.
Yeah, I've heard people say, but that blood coming out of there. It's called au jus. It is blood, but it's cooked.
Yeah,
It's
you're
been
fine.
cooked. It'll be slightly
I've
red.
been eating rare beef my
Yeah.
whole life, and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Truly raw beef is not red. It's brown. When you go to the store and you see all that white and red marbling in that meat, that's all artificial. That's dye and chemicals that they've used to keep that meat from turning brown. Real meat is like what you have in Central and South America. Brazil had beautiful beef. And when you went to the fucking butcher shop, it was brown. Brown. And that's the real color of it. Now, when it cooks, it becomes the normal color you would know. But when it's raw sitting there, it's brown. Yeah.
Most of our shit is injected with color.
It's injected with coloring, and it's also another thing that's done to American beef and all the meats, or at least the beef, I know, is that they're injected with or treated with chemicals that eliminate the smell.
Yeah.
Because the smell of raw beef is very distinctive.
It's off-putting to some
Yeah,
people.
they're like, oh. So what you're getting is a highly sanitized product that's kind of unnecessary. Other countries don't do that.
No, they don't.
It's just that
They all think we're weird for
America's
doing
food supply and production system was very, very corporatized. Corporations took over.
Well, and people got used to seeing things in a specific way.
Seeing things in packages with clear...
And if it didn't look like that, then they thought something was wrong.
Right, exactly. So everything was supposed to be kind of like the TV dinner. Totally fucking unnatural. A product that came from heaven or something, not touched by human hands, that type of shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the natural world involved in this totally pure, sanctified meat. You know, but that's kind of what they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Look how pretty it is. The thing is, though, is if you go to, like, when living in Brazil, you go to a Brazilian butcher shop, you can smell the butcher shop before you ever get there. You know, walking up the street, you go, yeah, I smell all that beef. You go in there and it's fucking, you got that fucking smell. It doesn't smell bad. It's just
meat.
It's just a meat smell, and it's the smell you don't get at a butcher shop here in the U.S.
Everything in the U.S. is very sanitized because people are real sensitive.
Yeah. You go to a Publix and it's like you're going to a damn hospital. You go to
You can't smell anything.
Can't smell anything. You can't. Everything is spotlessly
Sometimes
clean.
you can smell the fish counter a little bit.
The fish,
but not much.
Yeah,
not
and
much.
then all the fish is laid out all pretty and fucking. It's got the right kind of lights on it. It's all been treated so it stays a perfect uniform colors of white or pink. None of that's fucking natural. It's all done It's all done at the supplier or the manufacturer, the person who's fucking.
Because they know that's what
Yeah.
the consumer expects.
Right.
So that's how they make it look.
Yeah.
Because if it looks different, no one will buy it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that shit's bad for you. Probably not.
I mean...
Or maybe just marginally risky.
I kind of feel like there's some... I mean, we encounter so many bad things every day.
Yeah.
It's probably not worth worrying about.
Probably not, yeah. It's probably very minor.
I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's probably better to, like, minimize how much you eat, like, processed shit. That's always good.
Yeah.
But it's like a little bit of it isn't going to kill you.
Everything that survived and conquered in the United States was a corporation. McDonald's Corporation. Coca-Cola. Fucking shit like that. You know what I mean? All this stuff that made America famous, all this fast food and all this crap. It was not really American food as you would know it. When it first appeared here and people bought it, they were skeptical of it. They didn't want to eat that. It wasn't like anything they'd ever seen before. It took whole advertising campaigns to tell people that it was safe to eat fast food.
Yeah.
That hamburgers were good for you. That was a concept that they didn't, because the hamburger was an invention of the White Castle company. They sold that shit outside factories. They had to hire doctors to go down there and tell people, no, it's safe. You can eat meat.
They'd be like standing there eating them and be like, see, I'm a doctor and I'm eating it.
Right.
It's fine.
They weren't used to that. They weren't used to corporations.
Or he was an actor in a doctor's coat. I don't know.
Right.
Probably.
Probably an actor in a doctor's coat.
I would imagine.
But eventually what ended up happening is just that corporations just started dominating the entire culture and the entire system. And part of it is because America's big. It had lots of people in it that wanted all these products at an amazing rate. You had to be able to produce lots of it very quickly, and you had to transport it across the United States in a way where it wasn't rotten when it got there. There's whole programs on it you watch, very, very fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been fascinated by food history because until relatively recently, products used to be regional.
Yeah.
You could only get this thing like in a certain region or something like, and nobody in the rest of the country had heard of it.
Yeah.
But like when the train system came and like refrigerated cars and all that kind of stuff, and you could get the same stuff all around the country, that was like a huge step forward. Like it was a big deal that really hadn't happened before then, like national brands. Yeah. That's like pretty much a late 19th century, early 20th century invention. That wasn't really a thing before that.
Yeah. The corporations took over because a small mom and pop local restaurant or local manufacturer couldn't supply the nation.
Yeah.
How are they going to supply the nation? Hershey's chocolate supplied the nation for chocolate. And it wasn't the best chocolate. It has a weird flavor.
It's not great.
To this day, it still kind of has a weird wangy flavor. That's
little vomity,
a little soury kind of flavor. And that's
every European that I've known is that it kind of tastes like sour milk or like throw up.
Yeah, a little bit like sour milk.
Which it kind of does.
Yeah.
But Hershey's is aware that it tastes like that.
That's their signature.
But that's kind of their signature, so they left it the same because that was the distinctive flavor that everybody...
Yeah, that they were used to.
I mean, it didn't taste like that to me until somebody pointed that out to me. And then I was like, oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. And especially after I went to the UK and ate their chocolate, which tastes like a lot better. Yeah. You can tell the difference.
The thing is, though, is that the reason why Hershey's kicked ass is because in the early 1900s, a piece of chocolate made well at a candy shop probably would have been 15 cents. That was a lot of money back then. Okay. A Hershey's bar would be worth a penny. Anybody could afford that.
And it's like an affordable luxury.
Yeah.
Because these people's lives were drudgery.
Yeah.
So it's like you pay a penny and you get something for 5 minutes and that makes you feel joy.
Right.
in your horrible life. It's like that's kind of significant.
Because in the U.S. in the early 1900s, before Hershey's, only rich people could afford chocolate.
Yeah.
Little poor people and little kids couldn't afford that shit. But you could bring them a chocolate bar for a penny, then everybody could afford it. And it was like the people's chocolate. Yeah. And it was good enough. It wasn't as good as the expensive shit, but it was good enough.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's still decent. It's still decent.
And it poured out of a factory.
Yeah.
And you could ship it all over the U.S. And it would be in every store, and it was always exactly the fucking same. The bar was exactly the same size, same shape. It had writing on it. The wrapper was all exactly the same. And that corporate mentality of everything being the fucking same started to get ingrained in Americans early. McDonald's is not American food. It's a corporate rendition of certain American dishes. Yeah,
a McDonald's burger does not taste anything like a burger you make at your house.
A McDonald's hamburger, each patty is exactly the same size, tastes exactly the same as all the other ones, and that's on purpose. They've used stuff to make sure that it all tastes the same. The fucking buns are exactly the same. If I go get a fucking Big Mac today, locally, and eat it, it tastes like every other Big Mac I've had all over the United States since I was a little boy. Yeah. If I go to fly to fucking Oregon or fucking another fucking state up in fucking Maine, all right, and go get a McDonald's, go get a Big Mac there, it's going to taste exactly like the fucking Big Mac that I just had here. They're exactly the same. And
that's their whole business model.
That's the whole thing. It is
because it's comforting.
It's what they're selling. They're selling you consistency. You can get the same comforting flavors from your childhood or fucking from when you were living everywhere you go under all circumstances. You can fucking have that same
will taste exactly the same
flavor again. You can trust that it will taste. I've never had anything from McDonald's that didn't taste like it came out of a McDonald's. It's pretty good. But it's very generic.
Generic. You know exactly what you're getting.
You know what you're getting, yeah.
Like if you're in the mood for McDonald's, you're in the mood for McDonald's. That's what you want. And I've never been disappointed. That always tasted exactly how I expected that it was going to taste. Now, although I'm a bigger fan of like a quarter pounder.
Yeah, I actually like Big Macs better
than the Big Mac. I do like the Big Mac, but I think the quarter pounder is
something about the sauce to bread to meat ratio of the Big Mac for me is the best. I'll eat 2 Big Macs over 1 quarter pounder. I'll just get and I won't get the fries. I'll just get a drink and 2 Big Macs. But now you have people in Europe and the UK. I've heard other professional chefs like Gordon Ramsay talk about it. They said, well, just because you think you had a McDonald's hamburger, that doesn't mean that you know what a hamburger tastes like or you know what American food is, because that's not what McDonald's is. Okay. And Gordon Ramsay said he went all throughout Europe and the UK, and he never found a hamburger in any of those countries that was like an American hamburger made at a hamburger stand. Right. He says that they always have at least one thing wrong with it, like it's the wrong kind of bread. That the bun wouldn't be very acceptable in the United States. Like it might be too sweet, or it may not be sweet at all, or it might be a little too airy, or it might be too coarse. There's a certain thing Americans are looking for, or there's a certain spectrum that we'll accept when it comes to the bun. And then just the way the toppings and the meat's done. You know what I mean? Fucking, there's going to be variations in the American hamburger if it's made by a small hamburger stand or a restaurant that's specializing in it. But they're going to have their own signature to it. But they're good. But here's the thing. Hamburgers aren't really American food. That's just one of the dishes that we have. You don't live on that. It was just a sandwich with some French fries. When the hamburger first appeared, it was considered foreign. It was considered German.
Yeah.
Because it was made out of something called Hamburg beef, which was ground beef. And Americans didn't eat that. Only German immigrants ate that. And they started making patties out of it and putting it on bread. And
it was mostly for workers. It was just kind of like dudes would set up outside of factories.
Yeah.
And serve it to people that like on their lunch breaks.
Yeah. And people were like, what the fuck is that? It's Hamburg beef. And it became... And then later, White Castle put together... They perfected it, basically. The first hamburger was the White Castle burger. And it's exactly the same as it always was. You can see it's described exactly the way... The machine, how it's cooked, on the equipment that they use hasn't changed. It's dinner rolls, sliced in half, with a cracker made out of beef with holes in it and everything, so it cooks quickly. It cooks in its own grease, and then they throw a bunch of fucking onions,
like diced onions
in there, and on a griddle,
a squirt of mustard and a pickle.
A squirt of mustard and a pickle in there, and that's what the hamburger was. It came in a pack of 6 or 4. 6 or 4.
I can't remember. Because we had Crystal in the South, which is essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
They came in like, each burger was like it was a slider, what they would call a slider nowadays.
You call it a slider tonight.
But it was just like came in a little box, and you get a huge sack of them.
Yeah.
We used to get them a lot when I was a kid.
When I was a kid, we'd turn our nose up at fucking Crystal or fucking... Or White Castle. Be like, man, that's some fake-ass hamburgers. No, that was the original hamburger. That was the old-school hamburger. That's what it came from. All this McDonald's bullshit and these big fucking...
And the buns were steamed, were they not?
Yeah, they were steamed kind of.
Yeah.
All this fucking... I'm going to have a fucking bacon Swiss avocado fucking guacamole burger. They didn't have that fancy shit. It was real basic.
I mean, I still like a Crystal burger. Every now and then in a mood
When you're
for that.
drunk, man, a Crystal burger or a White Castle burger, those are the shit. You can get a lot of them.
Yeah, you can just get a whole sack.
You're like, give me a pack of 20.
I'm gonna eat all.
They
of
were
them
cheap
fuckers.
back in the day. Yeah.
They were, yeah.
A pack of 20, you could probably get that for about $6.
Well, when I was a kid,
maybe.
there was a Crystal not that far from us. So every now and then, we would either get... There was a restaurant by us that was a local restaurant called Hampton's, and they had foot-long hot dogs and hamburgers that were kind of gross, but they were also kind of good. We would either get that, or we'd get Crystal.
Yeah.
So we'd get like a big sack, and then you come home and dump the big sack in all the little boxes of all the little sliders.
It was explained to me sometime. Crystal is White Castle. It's the same. It was the same company. I think they split in half.
I can't even remember. It's really convoluted,
it's real convoluted.
The history of it.
Crystal and
they're essentially the same thing.
They're essentially the same country.
I mean, Crystal was just kind of like the southern version.
The southern version of it.
Of White Castle, because I don't think we have White Castle down here.
No, that's a northern thing.
You can buy them in the freezer section.
Yeah.
Like White Castle burgers, but...
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't even... You know what? I don't even know if we have any Crystal... Do we have any Crystals left here?
I haven't seen a Crystal in a long time.
I haven't seen one either, now that I'm thinking about it.
All kinds of new chain restaurants are opening up around here. The ones we've never even heard of. New chicken places, because KFC is so weak now. Chicken places. What was that one we saw on that program?
Yeah, we were watching one, like, Company Man did a show last night about, what the fuck is that place called? It's at Dave's Hot Chicken.
Yeah. Another one opened up a couple years back. That might have been 8 years ago now. What was it? Bojangles. They were good.
That's been around a while, though.
Yeah.
That's been around a while.
It's kind of like a southern...
I don't think I've ever... I maybe ate it that one time, but I think maybe I was a kid. Because that's been around a while. Yeah. We had one in Daytona when I was a teenager, I think. Yeah. We had one of those, and we had a Church's. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Bojangles was good. It's kind of like a southern... fast food restaurant.
It's kind of Popeyes-ish.
Yeah, kind of like Popeyes.
But not Cajun. Like, it was kind of like chicken biscuits.
Chicken sandwiches.
That kind of stuff.
Hamburgers.
I think they have biscuits and gravy kind of shit. Like that kind of stuff.
Right.
I don't know if they have biscuits and gravy.
I think you could probably get grits and shit there.
Yeah, Phantom said Bojangles and Popeyes are damn near the same. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because Popeyes is kind of more Louisiana,
Yeah.
whereas Bojangles is just more general Southern. I kind of feel like. That's kind of like, yeah.
Is there red beans and rice as good as fucking Popeyes? Though?
I mean, Popeyes is kind of the
Popeyes
gold
got
standard
the best red beans and rice in the fucking all the whole South. People try to copy that recipe. That shit's good. They're as good as a McDonald's French fry. Hard to beat a McDonald's French fry.
Phantom's also talking when we were talking about chocolate earlier. He said Reese's Cups don't taste vomity. No, they don't.
No.
And honestly, I would argue that probably Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are probably the platonic ideal of American candy.
That's the ultimate candy.
I mean, I like lots of different kind of candy and stuff like that, but man, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that's like the number one candy or whatever.
Yeah, and they've come out with mutant versions of them. It's a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup with white chocolate.
And, I love the white chocolate.
And fucking strawberry jam in it.
Because I love...
That's good too, man.
I know white chocolate is technically not really chocolate, like, you know, by definition, but I'm a big fan of, like, white chocolate.
Yeah.
So, and white chocolate peanut butter cups, oh shit, I'm all about that. Chocolate peanut butter cups are good too, but white chocolate's
the one I want more of is Del Taco. We only got one and it's far away from here.
There's one in...
Del Taco's really good.
It's in Winter Park. It's over by the college.
Yeah. It's a good American taco. It's a fake...
You can get tacos and french fries.
Yeah, it's a fake taco place, all right? Just like Taco Bell's a fake Mexican restaurant. It's like that. It's fake, all right? But it's good.
Yeah.
All right? I like real Mexican food too. If I want real Mexican shit, I got a Mexican fucking restaurant here.
Yeah.
Just a few miles up here where all the fucking farmhands go to. It's good, but it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Because you order something nice that's, it's good. Although lately it's been kind of hit and miss. Sometimes it's better.
Yeah,
sometimes
last
it's not
time I ate there,
good.
it wasn't really all that good.
Yeah, it's a little hit and miss sometimes.
I mean, we don't eat there that regularly,
Yeah.
but we ate there a couple months ago, and I was just kind of like, it was okay, but it wasn't really that good.
I'm not sure it was worth the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, that one in downtown Eustis was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot cuter. It's got a fucking...
What's that place called?
I forgot.
Something something
Sol de Mexico?
Something like
Sol
that.
de Mexico, maybe?
Like Mexican Sun or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's got a Dia de los Muertos fucking theme kind of going.
Yeah, it's cool. Like,
and
the decor inside is really
you
cool.
go inside, you look like you're in a little Mexican village back in the 1800s or some shit. It's like kind of Disneyland-ish. Like a theme park. The problem
We've
is...
eaten there a couple times.
Yeah, the food's... the thing that's not a Mexican restaurant, though. That's a fake...
Yeah.
A Mexican restaurant.
Food's okay, though.
It's okay. It's better than Taco Bell. But you know what? Not that much better than Taco Bell. And it was not expensive. And I remember it said the food was pretty good. We had Mexican waitresses, cute little Mexican waitress working there. And I said, so that was pretty good. She goes, it was?
She was surprised.
And it was? Yeah.
I will
Because they don't like it. I can just tell by they're like, fuck that shit.
I will say that the food is reasonably priced.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
It's actually one of all the restaurants that we have in rotation that we go to around here in a 20-mile radius, that's probably the best value.
Yeah,
I feel.
Yeah, for like a 12
like it's the least expensive.
Like for $12 a piece, you can eat.
You can get more food than you can eat.
Yeah.
Like more food than I can eat.
Yeah,
for
and it's a real nice environment in there.
Tom's always got to finish it because I can't finish it.
See, I can find that place.
Yeah, it's called what the fuck is it called? Something Del Sol or something like that.
I'll look it up on Google.
Yeah, just put downtown. I mean, downtown Eustis is fucking
Mexican restaurants.
So you should be able to find it pretty easy. I think that's the only Mexican restaurant down there.
I'm gonna find this bitch. They're gonna have, because I remember I saw pictures of it, and it does look cute from. Let's see, where is this fucking place? Try to look on the map. I can't find it this way. So I'm sitting here looking for this shit, and Jen jumps into the fucking bathroom and leaves y'all hanging. So that means I just got to sit here if I can talk to keep you guys. Mexican restaurant near me. No.
It's like the only one down there, dude.
Yeah.
Downtown. It's downtown Eustis, right?
Let me see.
I thought
Downtown
it was.
Eustis?
I thought downtown Eustis, or it's not Leesburg, is it?
No.
No, it's Eustis. It's that little bitty downtown Eustis
Sol de
area.
Mexico.
There you go.
Sol de Mexico.
I kind of got it right the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I was like
Mexico.
sold to something.
Yeah.
Sold to something.
Sol de Mexico. The Mexican Sun.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to ask to see the place, and it's not showing it to me.
Cause it's like we ate at that place, and there was that Italian place down there. We ate there one time. I don't know what other restaurants they got down there. We don't usually go down there. We go to Mount Dora, which is only about 8 miles from here. They got a lot of good restaurants. There's an Indian restaurant down there. There's a really good Thai restaurant down there. And then what's that other place? And then there's that British pub, the Magical Meat Boutique. It's called the Magical Meat Boutique. They got good food too.
That's Sol de Mexico.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've been there a couple times.
Yeah. Let's see. It's kind of
Pretty in there.
the outside's cool.
Yeah, it's a cute little place, actually.
It's got fucking handmade furniture and stuff in it.
It's a cute little place.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's it.
see if I can see the outside of it.
Full Metal Nosferatu said Gordon Ramsay would make burgers for restaurants on Kitchen Nightmares with egg in the ground beef.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I noticed that he did weird shit. Like, why is he putting egg in that? You don't need egg in there.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that all burgers are improved by putting a fried egg on there.
Yeah, a fried egg on it. That's even Central and South America to have that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's another thing. Every time we go down to the Circle K, like when the Subway is open, they got like in the little section where they have all the meats and shit, they have like a whole bunch of like already cooked fried eggs. And I was just kind of like, would they just like put that on my sandwich if I asked?
Yeah.
I guess they would.
That,
I should ask.
the video of people eating at Sol de Mexico.
Okay, try to fucking get it.
Zach says also, why are kind of shitty bar burgers so damn good? And then Phantom said,
you're drunk?
because the alcohol munchies make
Yeah,
it taste better.
because you're drunk.
Yeah, I kind of feel like being drunk, my thing, when I'm drinking, usually what I want is breakfast. You know what I mean? So back in the day, when Tom, before we moved in together, like Tom lived in Altamont Springs, and I lived in Winter Park. And like, so I would stay over at his house after the club, and he had a Waffle House, like right up the street from his house. So we would always stop at Waffle House on the way, because it's open 24 hours. And we would get like waffles and hash browns and grits and eggs and shit like that. And it was like really good. But, you know, and there used to be, when we used to go to Venue 13 on Lee Road, there was a Denny's right there. And everybody would go to the Denny's after. Because everybody wants breakfast food, because you want something kind of fatty. You know what I mean? Soak up all the alcohol. McDonald's is good too. Like last time, what we started doing, the last couple times that we've been to Barbarella, we used to stop at Circle K and get sandwiches on the way home. But the last couple times we've been taking a different way home, like past our old house, and there's a McDonald's there that's open all night. So Tom's like, I'm going to stop at McDonald's. So we've been stopping at McDonald's the last couple times. So getting quarter pounder and fries and shit like that. Instead of just getting sandwiches from Circle K. They must be wondering where we are.
Yeah, it's about time.
Although we went there Wednesday night.
Yeah.
We were just there Wednesday night getting sandwiches. So they're probably not wondering. They're like, I wonder if they're dead.
We'll be there. When's it close? 11?
Midnight, I think.
Midnight?
I think.
These people are walking to Sol de Mexico.
I can't see that.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like from the outside.
Yeah, it's a cute little place.
Yeah.
I mean, downtown Eustis is fucking tiny. It's only like 2 or 3 blocks.
It's got skeletons on it, see?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all like Dia
Yeah.
de los Muertos.
Yeah.
They got like little outside.
Yeah.
It's a cute, like I said, it's a cute place. They
Yeah.
got decent food, and
It's-
it's like reasonably priced.
Yeah, it's just not authentic.
I mean, it's not fantastic.
Yeah.
But It's a good... If you want some Mexican food for not that expensive...
Yeah, and that's where you go.
Then that's where you go.
Yeah.
So...
That's about 6-7 miles from here.
Yeah, not far.
Yeah.
That's one of our restaurants that's in our rotation.
Yeah. Let's see if they show a waitress.
Yeah, see, it looks like a little... Like I said, it looks like a little Disney ride.
It's like a little Mexican cantina from the 1800s in Disneyland. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, Full Metal Nosferatu said Ramsey would whisk the egg to bind the burger. Yeah.
Yeah. He also put mustard in it.
Sometimes.
He put mustard in them. And you see, the thing is that he's fucking up. And he probably knows he's fucking up. It's just that Gordon Ramsay does shit like he wants to do it sometimes.
He's Gordon fucking Ramsay. What are you going to do? Tell him not to do it like that?
I got his fucking Indian
I bought
recipe book. It's good. The thing is, though, is that the amount of spices he's saying to use in there are about maybe 1/4 of what a fucking an Indian would use.
It's not.
You got to put a lot more than that. But he doesn't like anything hot. Which I don't know how you could. Okay.
Well, he might just be making the generic recipes like, hey, if you don't really like hots, because some people don't.
He doesn't like anything hot.
It's like, make it like this, but if you want more heat, you can always add more, you know what I mean?
So, he's just, his honky level's high. He doesn't like anything hot. He knows that Americans brag over the whole fucking concept of 100% pure beef patty. That means there's no egg in it. There's no fucking... The only thing that's in it is salt and pepper. A little bit of seasoning. Maybe seasoned salt. Lowry's seasoned salt, maybe. And just a little bit. That's the only thing in the meat. This whole thing about we're going to put eggs, or I saw him one time put breadcrumbs in it. And I was like, well, he's making meatloaf. Because we do that, but we make meatloaf when we do it. That's meatloaf. That's not hamburger.
I mean, if you're making a meatloaf burger, okay, fair enough. But yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is he? Is he trying to stretch the hamburger out between more burger? But I don't think he was. He just thought that was... He liked that like that. He's putting the mustard in the hamburger patty and then cooking it. I'm like, oh, you're fucked up. That's not how you do that. But the rest of the hamburger he made looked pretty good. I don't know why he did that patty.
If the beef is good, you don't need a lot of shit in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you do need salt and pepper, though. It's like you do got to season the shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, you don't really need...
Yeah, the ground beef has to speak for itself.
And especially if you're going to put a bunch of shit on the burger.
Yeah.
Then...
And you see, I'm going to put Swiss cheese, 2 strips of bacon on it, a fucking tomato slice, an onion slice.
Perhaps some avocado.
A fucking thing of guacamole on the top. Between toasted buns. That's my favorite burger.
Yeah, that is a really good burger.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like shit with fried egg on it. I want
fried egg's good too. I like fried egg just on like what would be a normal, what they would call in Brazil, a cheese salada, which means it's got cheese and it has lettuce and tomato and all that.
Yeah.
And then they would also put like, you had the patty, a fried egg, then the cheese, and then all the fucking salada. And then your mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup. You know what I'm talking about? So you had the cheese on top of the egg on top of the patty. That's how I used to do it. Almost kind of like might have been the other way around. Might have been the patty, the cheese, and then the egg, and then the toppings.
Yeah.
That might have been that way. Because it's easier to do it that way. I just might have had it backwards. I was thinking of fucking Eggs Benedict. But fucking... or not Eggs Benedict, what do you call that shit? McDonald's version of Eggs Benedict. What do they call that shit? Egg McMuffin.
The Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
Which I think the sausage McMuffin is better. But...
They're both good.
They're both good. But the sausage McMuffin is better, I would argue.
What's better is just go to Ward's and get their sausage biscuit. You ever had that at Ward's? Oh, you don't have Ward's here, do they?
No, we don't have Wards. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking
about.
That's
Mississippi,
like Montgomery Wards?
No, Ward's.
Oh, is that the one you sent me the video from?
Yeah, the video from was in
Ward's.
Ward's.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have those here.
Yeah.
Well,
Ward's is a
not that I know of.
Ward's is a Mississippi franchise. It's good. It's a hamburger place.
But I mean, I'm just saying, it's like I don't even
kind of like Sonic.
I didn't even know that we had Culver's here until we drove up to Harbor Freight the other day And there was a Culver's sitting right there in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be damned. I didn't think we had those here. And there's one right there. Like less than 5 miles from our house. I didn't even realize. So, you know, like I said, we do kind of get around to different restaurants and stuff, but I don't notice. So I don't really know if a lot of these franchises, like when I was watching The Company Man last night about Dave's Hot Chicken, and it showed how fast the franchise had been expanding, and it showed a fuck ton of them in Florida, and I was just like, I have never seen one of those. But it's entirely possible that we have a bunch of them around here, and I've just never seen one. You know?
Yeah.
That's what awards looks like. It's in Mississippi.
I'm
There's
pretty
a lot of
sure
them.
we don't have those, but
Yeah.
like I said, I would have to look it up.
That's the little mascot they got, little octoroon girl, quadroon
Home
girl.
of the big one.
Yeah, home of the big one. That's the name of the big one. They got.
And they have homemade root beer.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you sending me when you were there with your dad.
Yeah.
I remember you going there and sending me the video from
Yeah.
that restaurant.
If you ever go through Mississippi, you want to stop at Awards.
Now I'm kind of curious if they've expanded outside of the state.
No, it's Mississippi only.
It's Mississippi only.
Mississippi only. It's kind of it's kind of still family run, I think. Or partially family run.
Interesting. Like I said, a lot of those kind of franchises have opened in Florida, and I just didn't notice. So,
Yeah.
But I don't know about that one. Like I said, I didn't even notice Culver's opened here till I saw one 5 miles away. So, shows how observant I am. All right, are you ready to...
Yeah, let's go. I'm getting hungry.
He's getting hungry again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up for the evening. Maybe go get some sandwiches, as we usually do on Friday night.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys had a good time. Thank you so much for your super chats. We had some very generous super chats this evening, and we really do appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you for hanging out with us this Friday night. You know we love doing that every Friday. And so hopefully you guys have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday doing a movie review. I don't know what movie it's going to be. We'll figure something out over the weekend. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys again on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. Good night.